All right, and we're live. Welcome. We waited 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks, and we finally are back to round two.
Yeah, this weekend we sprung forward 1 hour and our meta sprung forward a full set. I practiced that
Yeah.
today.
Like,
But yeah,
I
it's
was
very
ready
exciting.
for it the whole day.
I know. I was like, oh, that's good. And I was like, should I tell people that I've been thinking about it? Should I make it sound like I thought about it off the cuff? But no, I practiced. But
Well, it
yeah,
was
I
good.
think
It was good.
it's been a very exciting weekend of just watching people, everyone pull in Enchanted and also everybody's new decks. So we have two teams today, and they both made an appearance before, obviously, but this is now officially round two.
Hype, 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 hype.
That is yeah, that is the sound of the audience right now, is the hype. And we have two very exciting teams. We have from Kansas. There's no place like home, Kansas. It's the Sunflower
No place like
Illumineers.
home.
Yeah, except for Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa. All those places are sort of like Kansas, but there's no place like Kansas. And there's no team like the Sunflower Illumineers. So they'll be showing up and showing out tonight, and they'll be facing off against Luxury Gaming. So I'm not sure where. Do you know where Luxury Gaming is based? Somewhere luxurious, of
Um,
course, not
I do
Kansas.
believe New York. I don't think it's Jersey. It could be Jersey instead.
Somewhere
But
luxurious, and the East Coast is very luxurious. But we did get a question in the chat. They said, "Are we playing the new set?" Yes. So that was one of the reasons we took a break, because we wanted to give everyone a chance for the new set to come out. And you had 3 days to open packs, and now those packs better be open because the set is legal.
I mean, it's more fun that way.
It is, and it's
Like,
very exciting.
I hope you're quick at it and you got to get ready. It's like trade for everything, open all the product, get everything ready to go.
Yeah, I
Try to get
tried chanting Tamatoa, Tamatoa, Tamatoa over all my packs, and it only worked 3 times. But you can't
it
have
only
infinite.
worked 3 times.
Yeah, I needed it to work 8 times because we're a double sapphire family now, but unfortunately, the crab is cannot provide that powerfully. But I'm wondering if we will see the crab tonight. I'm gonna guess if I'm not a betting person because I don't have a lot of money, But if I did bet, I would bet we're gonna see a crab tonight. That's my big
One
big bet.
crab? Just
Well, at
one?
least one. At least a 6 or I believe 9 is the traditional Tamatoa size.
Hmm. Well, let's we get a look at who's playing in the first round here. We've got Brian Ducky and Dunbar. Um, I'm pretty sure we've got some spice here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm so bad at my job. It's not Ducky first.
Listen, multitasking is hard, and they both start with a D, and they're both 6 letters. So, to anybody at home, please keep in mind,
Got
multitasking.
Danzor going.
Yeah, Danzor.
Kevin Danzor playing first. Sorry about that, Danzor. I was just so excited to see Ducky play. I'm a huge Ducky fan, and I just wanted to switch things up so I could watch Ducky play. I cannot hear you anymore, Katie. Well, we're off to a great start here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just did the best thing I could do, which is just get out and then get back in, and it worked. Also, Lux
Uh,
is Jersey, Joyzy,
he's there from Jersey. Okay.
the new of jerseys, not the old one, the new one.
Uh,
So we got Jersey versus Kansas, the classic matchup.
the classic matchup,
It
Kansas
is.
versus Jersey. Is that like a really renowned like thing? Years of nemesis action,
Exactly.
rivalry.
So
That's the word I'm looking for.
now, Dunbar, I did talk to him today. So he is coming from Magic the Gathering. So as you can see, he once beat the entire state of Kansas at Magic the Gathering, but now he's playing Lorcana. So he's moved on and he's starting to beat people at that. So now he just has to beat the entire state of New Jersey. So that's going to be Dunbar's path here. Are you able to hear me okay? Are you able to hear me okay, Luke?
I totally grabbed both. I was also being told the other name card was also wrong. Heath is
I
up
guess you're right. Yeah, it's
first.
Mason. It's round one is Mason versus Dixer.
Or Mason, yes. I'm
Yes.
obviously Took too much
Multitasking.
time on my vacation. Uh, but here we are. We're ready to go.
All
Look at
right.
all this
So I will be
fancy,
disappearing.
fancy. Oh, you'll be disappearing in 1 second. Yep. You can say goodbye and everything because we are
Well, it's
going
goodbye
to
for
be
now.
cutting to Garrick is going to be joining us.
All right. Well, goodbye for now.
Oh, did that? Oh, interesting. Studio mode cuts you out as well. Oh. Well, Garrick, whenever you turn your camera on, you can join me. Oh wait, no, that must be the wrong one. Why don't I see him? I can't hear you.
Is on.
Oh, there we go. I just
There I
told you.
am. Hello, everyone.
We've already missed the action because I am slow at this, apparently. But we got a bell started off from Danzer. And a little bit of a spoiler, it's a mirror match.
It is a mirror match, but Masish, is that how you say their name? Masish has a card that I have been screaming from the rooftops. I don't know how
Really?
many people have heard me, but maybe he did. I was like, this card has to be good. And
It just has to be.
that is the Aurora that he is playing. The shift 2 cost 4. Opponents can't choose your items or abilities for effects. And then you can exert one of your items, look at the top card of your deck, and put it at the top or the bottom of your deck. So it can set up your Oswald to be a little luckier than
Ooh.
normal.
Not bad. An interesting flashback to set 4 there. Not something you'd see all the time.
And there she is into the inkwell.
You're like, come on, I want to see her. Oh, I mean, and that's why she's so good, right? She can be inked when she needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every card that is inkable is good in some sort of fashion, form or fashion, right? If it's not good in this situation, you know where it is good? In my inkwell.
Right. This leads to one reason why I don't use black sleeves very much. They
Yes.
just blend right into that playmat.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
remember when I got my first playmat from my last team, it was like all black, and I had to change the sleeves I used on my ink token. It's because I was using like a bright blue one before. Just you got to find a contrast.
Yeah, 100%. Or you gotta
Luckily,
just
at the top of the screen, we have an ink counter, so we know how many ink they have if they
true.
maintain that updated.
Shout out to Pixelborn Connect. The
Yes.
amazing tracking tools.
I should probably put their names up so we know who's playing.
So we just had a Pete come down. A Pete on turn 3, pretty early for a Pete. I don't think that's going to slow Danzor down that much. He's going to get a Hiram down on curve, draw a couple of cards, keep that hand healthy, full, with tons of different options within these Sapphire Steel decks. It feels like in this set they can do anything at any time and just completely bully their opponent into submission. But we do have a mirror match here. I guess it's just going to come down to who is the bigger bully with their Hiram Flavershams and their Tamatoas and their Oswalds and their draw
It's like
engines
everything.
and yeah, their bells.
Well, right now it does look like Danzar is a little bit farther ahead. 6 ink to
Yeah,
3, Flaversham in play. Um,
Still has
Oh,
3 cards in his hand, can draw another card with the popsicle next turn, but we do see
imagine this
Oswald
hits
come
a
down.
fishbone. Come on, fishbone quill.
Now we're even.
First one of the day missed.
Scrooge. Another crazy card that they added this set. Exert 4 items to put them in for free, and then look at the top 4 cards of your deck and
Yeah, it's
put
insane.
an item into your hand. Just Sapphire gets everything free. You want a free Lucky Dime? Just quest with your Tamatoa. You want a free Bell? Banish one of your items. You want a free Scrooge? Exert 4 items. You can just play everything for nothing. And then also you can sing a bunch of steel cards for free as well.
And this game does things different than others. When something says free, it is free. So if something else says they cost more to play, no, they don't. They're free.
Yeah.
The only way you can stop free is if it just says you can't play them. If you can't play them, sure, it's still free. You just can't play it, right? But Gontu making your stuff cost more, that does not stop Oswald.
Singing.
It does not stop the trigger. It doesn't stop singing either, except for the first turn.
Yeah, exactly. Getting ultimate Tamatoa value right off the jump, getting 2 popsicles back. That's just more food for the Hiram. The Hiram will probably go down to this Pete and Bell, but still.
We need like a little stock market thing going across the bottom of the screen that shows Tamatoa's price live going up as everyone's like, this is why it's $60+.
Exactly. Now it's 70. Let's see if he wins another match.
Shout out to the sellers who actually send the cards that people buy. And curses to the person who canceled my $30 or $18 Scrooge before it doubled in price.
Yeah, had similar things happen. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, definitely shout out to all the people that actually send them for the price you bought them at.
I learned my lesson. You just don't buy from stores with like 10 sales.
Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes they burn you.
Not on hype things. Like if a card's spiking, you're probably not getting it. But if it's just like you have an intuition or you just want the card, like it's fine there. It's the first time actually in a lot of sales I've had that happen. Oh,
double Oswald.
Let's go.
How many misses will there be? Find out today.
Fishbone quill. Fishbone. Oh.
Womp womp.
All right, so statistically, this next one should be our 33% chance.
Womp womp.
Ooh, we're below the average. Assuming he's on 20-ish items and he's drawing the proper equal amount between items and whatnot, he'll randomly have around 33%, depending on how the game goes.
Let's take a look here. He does have 20 items. One of them, being a Fang crossbow, interestingly enough, is playing that one of Shield of Arendelle, as well as a one of Greatstone Dragon. The Fang crossbow is pretty interesting. I guess you just have that in there for red-blue decks that are still playing Sisu.
I want to see an item that is like, call it like Dragon Scale. Banish this item, give a character +3 strength until the start of your next turn, and it counts as a dragon, or like gains +3 strength and counts as a dragon until the end of your next turn. Let me just like dragon scale something and then like crossbow it. Like give me that ability.
I see. Turn your Hiram into a dragon and shoot him down.
Yes.
The Maurice's Workshop does come down though on the side of the Sunflower player, who is Mashish.
Mousetrap should just say exert, banish, target mouse. And not whatever it actually does. I think it like gains lore or takes lore and gains lore.
Mouse and or rat character. Hit Ratigan, hit Hiram, hit Mickey and Minnie, I guess.
I mean, Ratigan's too strong for a Mousetrap to take him down.
Fair. But Danzor just seems to just have infinite ink here and infinite options. Just got so far ahead with that Fishbone Quill early on, and just so much value out of the Hirams.
Well, I was going to say he doesn't have much lore, but that changes things. Like, all of a sudden, a giant Tamatoa could be played with a dime in play to activate. Mason really needs to have a hideaway there, and, I mean, I can check. We can check. And there's not a hideaway in Mason's deck. Nor is there.
No Cusco.
So we're kind of on the race game plan here.
Yep. Quest for 2, play a 7 cost item for free, pay 2, gain another 2. Pretty cool. And you know what? I'll strength something as well.
These players' decks are very similar.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's going to be a race after the SSG to see who can truly optimize this deck the best, who can come up with the best 60 for the shifting metagame, which is very, very difficult to do. You know, starting with a solid 50-ish cards is great, but those like final 10 or so are really going to determine which deck is going to end up being the best for that day. And that's where just high-level deck building comes into play.
Double workshop.
He's going to
Like,
draw a card
Mason
here.
has so much but so little all at the same time.
Yeah, 5 ink is so brutal at this stage of the game when you compare, you know, ink totals, not to mention all the cards that are on Danzor's side of the board. And there is the Fishbone Quill going into the Inkwell. We'll see if Oswald is able to hit. No. The big Tamatoa, not necessarily something Mason wanted to see regardless, but that is, what, 4 misses for the Oswald in this game so far?
Poor Oswald. Did the Singleton hit the workshop? Did I blink and miss that?
The what? Sorry?
Did that single Oswald hit that workshop, or did he? I know he played one workshop, but did he luck sack into one?
Yeah, I didn't see if that happened.
Somehow it's like right in front of me, and I blinked.
Yeah.
Oh,
here it comes. Big
boom.
Tamatoa. What's better than 1 Tamatoa? 2. And this one gains a lot more lore. It's crazy how synergistic they made those 2 Tamatoas. One picking up the lucky dime and putting it on the board for free, and the other one following it up and just gaining maximum value from the card. Probably the best card in the game to gain value from the lucky dime. It's either that or the aerial treasure collector. But when you have so many popsicles, all 4 of them on the board, it makes it a lot better.
Like, it makes sense when you're playing with 8 popsicles to draw 4. But
Yeah.
normally you draw a mixture of the 2, not just all of one.
Yeah, able to gain all of that lore with all the popsicles. And then, you know what? I'll quest with Hiram, gain another lore, get rid of the popsicle, and draw 2 more cards. When this deck seems to get rolling on the tracks, there's just no stopping it sometimes.
And then that's one. That's a game right there.
Yeah, Danzor just got so far ahead with that early Fishbone like you were talking about and just snowballed the game completely out of control. And then Mason not able to hit on those Oswalds consistently enough just spelled the end for him. I mean, Danzor, I don't know how many cards he drew off Hiram that game, not to mention all the popsicles. Plus, the Tamatoa got 2 popsicles back, played a free dime. Just insanity when the snowball effect of this deck. Hopefully we'll see the Aurora Lore Guardian come down. That way you can set up the Oswald, and the Oswald won't miss as much.
You just want it to be played. I understand.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's true. I am hoarding 500 of them and waiting for it to pop off and then passion.
500.
All cold foil. No, I really like that Aurora. I also like the one that gives ward. You know, I think the blue players, the sapphire players, let's start exploring Aurora a little bit with these decks. You know, how could be giving your Oswald's ward? How bad could that be?
The issue is it just kind of eats a bullet, and it's just like, do you want to pay 5 to prevent your lower cost character from getting answered. Like,
True.
why not just play another lower cost character or something like that? Unless you're playing her and then your character that can't be targeted. And at that point, maybe Alice is better. It depends on how many turns you need it. Like, if it's a character that just needs to stay readied and in play, like an Oswald or a Flynn Rider, like, go to it, you know? Like, keep them protected because you want that right away. But if you're going to be challenging or questing with it, Alice is probably a better choice for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oswald, similar to the Diablo that came in Ursula's Return, where it's just a card that can snowball if not dealt with, but it's not nearly as consistent as Diablo, which is why I think we haven't seen it yet. Up until this point, where items have just become so powerful, and the new Tamatoas and the Scrooge McDucks just make the Oswald better and sort of worth the risk of playing a character like Oswald, which is uninkable, doesn't quest, and can just miss.
Yeah, I was telling someone the other day, Oswald is like a reverse Ariel. The statistics on it are normally switched. Like Ariel, you'll normally have a 60 to 75% chance to hit, and like Oswald, you have like the 25 to 35% chance to hit. So like if you hit with your Ariel like 3 out of 4 times, you're gonna hit with your Oswald like 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 3 times. Like,
yeah, and the variance in the quality of cards that you hit with the Oswald is pretty crazy. Like, you could hit a Popsicle on turn 3,
yeah,
or you could hit a Lucky Dime on turn 3, or you could be
Which
somewhere in the
is-
middle and get a Workshop.
yeah, I think a Workshop or Fishbone. Does Oswald put it into play Exerted?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so you can't go like super crazy and go Fishbone into like activate and get a Fishbone
Yeah.
activate or something like. He went turn 2 Oswald, turn 3 like triple Fishbone, emptied his hand, played a Flaversham in the middle of it. Like, what's going on? I would jam like 35, 40 items in my deck.
Yeah, if that was the
Like,
case,
if
at
we
that
had
point,
good
I'd be like, hold
ones-
on, let me read that.
Give me item characters.
Character items like artifact creatures in other
Yeah.
games would be really cool. Yeah.
But
Like, I
don't
think
think we're gonna see
Baymax
it.
could be something like that,
yeah, Baymax, most of the characters from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, true.
Like there could be quite a few that could have done it, but like without like a reverse errata, like to fix all the old ones that should have been it. Like I don't see
Yeah.
it, but
It would be
that
tough.
is something Wizards did with Magic after like 15 years. It was like the giant like the creature type errata update, and they like added like 30 character types, and they adjusted all the retro cards to have extra types to like flow. So like we don't have dogs now, right? Like
Mhm.
maybe later they would change that to make a dog, so then like they'd go back and make Pongo and Perdita dogs.
Yeah, puppies and dogs, and just have double synergy.
Yeah, I mean,
It
they
looks-
probably wouldn't change puppy to dog, but yeah, go for it. Run away. Talk about how this game's going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Mason in a lot better position here. Danzor just with 3 items to start off. He's cycling through his deck, but Danzor's actually got threats onto the board. The Oswald misses again, but with nothing
for
on
2.
the other side, we see Oswald turn sideways.
See, that's like people are like Oswald's bad. Oswald's bad. It's like sure it can miss, but you also have to realize you're now running early bells and removal. You're kind of a tempo aggressor now.
Mhm.
You can be kind of control, but you don't have swords. You don't have Tinkerbell. You have strengths. These are cards that are played by swarm decks, like
Yeah.
Steel Song and things like that. Woo!
Whoa,
that's a big
there he
boy.
is. That is a play.
So like Oswald can at least turn sideways. Think of it as like a piglet that hits for a little less, but like could have some other things. Like the fact that it gets to gain 2 lore and do others is like pretty good. So we think that Dime's gonna get a Fishbone Quill, or
I think that Dime might be coming down here in a couple turns after we see this Tamatoa.
that's 2 turns away.
Yeah. Interestingly, on Mason's side, he had 3 ink at the end of his turn, but had nothing to play, which is not great. You got to assume his hand's
Yeah.
probably full of songs or characters that are too
Scrooge,
big. Yeah.
Tamatoa, Flaversham with no item and an empty Flaversham. But he's going to ink, hit the popsicle,
Yeah. And
and
then
then
play
play
the
the
Hiram.
Flaversham. Oh. The Ruin Great making Oswald look like a very fantastic character here.
We see Tamatoa's skyrocketing in value as Oswald plummets on the other side. For 4, what are we going to see? Could just be a Scrooge. No, he plays the Hiram with no item. Bell ate it up and could not find another one, which is really, really unfortunate. Again, he's got 20, and there's so many to choose from.
It's also just like a good curve turn.
Yeah.
Like, when's he going to play it next turn? Well, he's got to play the item, right? So if he plays it now, then he could play the item next turn in Quest.
True, yeah.
But I am assuming if it was a Fishbone Quill, he would have played that 2 turns ago when he had 3. Mason was in the driver's seat, but missing that turn 3 was, like, quite devastating for him.
Yep. Now the Scrooge gets to sing a song, draws another card, going up to 5 ink on this turn.
Came in for free, replaced itself in its hand, sang a song. Oh, come on. Come on, show us how the Oswalds are done. The person who's already drawn 4 items. But Fishbone Quill's in here?
Yep. And can ink naturally.
Get rid of that dime. Maybe.
You think that's the dime?
Oh,
there it goes.
See, that's how it's done, Mason. That's how you're supposed to do it.
You're just supposed to flip them off the top. That's what you do. Let's see if you can go 2 in a row.
How is it not once a turn?
No. Yeah, that's a good point. And for 3, Pete. So Oswald's going to stick and going to do some more stuff next turn.
You ain't storming my Oswald. I'm triggering 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times a minimum.
Oh, imagine if it's like
the potential for Tipo could come down, another Fishbone could come down, just could go
3
crazy.
Cards in hand, though. We do have to draw cards if we're going to keep inking.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, we do a big ink like 1 or 2 turns. We only really need to hit once or twice, and then all of a sudden we can play Big Tommy and start drawing cards again. And it does require real answers. And Mason does not have very many real answers.
Mason inking the old-fashioned way. There is the crossbow.
We've got Zeus and Strength. The normal average answers, but
pay 3 to draw 2 there off the crossbow doesn't feel the best, but definitely need to look for some answers here or try to build some momentum. But like you said, play the item after the Hiram. That way you can quest and gain those 2 cards regardless, instead of wasting a turn playing the crossbow last turn. And let's see how crazy Oswald goes this turn. With the potential of 3 ink with 4 cards in hand? 5? There he is.
So, for some reason, cameras don't respond to studio mode. So I can't adjust JDZ's camera on the studio mode pane because it pops him up on the normal stream. So they were able to see JDZ for a second there.
JDZ, one of the GOATs, a staple here at the ICL.
That was me getting greedy trying to do stuff. Yes, he is one of the 3 main casters of the ICL.
Yeah, I love JDZ. I'm going to be working with him this weekend at a tournament near me. He'll be streaming that on my channel. Should be fun. All right, another Oswald trigger we missed on the first one. There's the Shield of Arendelle.
That's just a banish effect too, right?
Yeah, it is. You do not need to exert it to use it.
Ooh, saucy. I didn't go on a deep dive of items. My first brew, I was like, oh, Imperial bow, sure, that's fun. I didn't even look for ones. I didn't care. I saw bow and was like, that's fun.
Yeah,
Like, I just want
evasive.
a Calhoun. Like, let me Calhoun some things. The one of shield is pretty neat, and you can bounce it back and then play it to protect.
Yeah, the Shield of Arendelle, having been testing into some people that will be playing in some tournaments coming up. They've been playing Sapphire Steel, so I've been playing against it a lot. And the Shield of Arendelle comes into play a lot of times. It can give that Tamatoa resist so it doesn't get banished by a Zeus. Yep. A lot of use cases for it. Can give your Hiram an additional resist if he needs it for whatever reason. If they have 3 strength characters on their board to banish it next turn. Just a solid one of, like you said, that can be recurred by the Tamatoas. And you can just see this game getting out of control here when Danzor does like 7 things a turn and then Mason does 1. Just feels bad.
Yeah.
We're going to draw 2 more with Hiram here. Probably going to ink some more.
Yeah. He's kind of just ran away with it.
Yep.
But it's... So I don't know if I'm happy or sad about this. It is the mirror match, but it wasn't just won by someone who was on the play. He was ahead, but he stumbled.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he did.
As soon as he stumbled, the other player like ran away. I don't know if that's a better or worse thing. But it does mean that you can win on the draw, and that
his Oswalds don't miss. They don't miss. That's 2 fishbones and a shield for free. And just quest out. I mean, there's nothing on Mason's side of the board. And yeah, like you said, Mason, turn 1 item, turn 1 bell, turn 2 Oswald, turn 3 nothing. And that shifted the whole game into Danzor's favor because Danzor went popsicle, 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 fishbone, exert 4, play a Scrooge on 3, get a lucky dime in my hand, which is probably in the inkwell as you called on turn 3, but
right.
Just so much value out of this deck when it gets going.
It's absurd. It's also crazy that his hand is so good that he's like, I'm not gonna fish. I'm not gonna ink again. Like I don't need to trigger my Oswald again. I don't need it. Like
yeah.
The card. So what cards are in his hand? Like Tamatoa's. Like maybe the dime. Maybe he was keeping the dime. He needs a threat, so I'm assuming there's some crab in there. I can't wait to see like shield, give my character resist, like play Tamatoa, get back shield, play it again, give my character resist again. I'm pretty sure double resist 1 is the equivalent of resist 2. I think
yeah, it gives resist plus 1, so it should stack every single time you do it. So yeah, you could definitely make some crazy Shield of Arendelle plays by recurring it with the Tamatoas, making crazy favorable trades if that's something you need to do.
It will be interesting to see which version of this archetype gets the best. The funny thing is like the cards that I hated to play against when I played decks that were in traditional Sapphire Steel, the only one that's still played really is like the Fishbone and, well, obviously Flaversham. But like they're not playing Swords, they're not playing Tinkerbell, and that's used to be, I was like, oh man, I lose because I play decks that get like swept by Tinkerbell and Swords. But now they're not running it. Now it just feels like another variant of Sapphire or of Ruby Sapphire, but they don't have the board wipe, so it's like a little more tempo.
Yeah, they get rid of your characters on the spot with their like Let the Storm Rage On, Strength of Raging Fire, Along Came Zeus. So it's hard for you to build up a wide board, whereas like against Ruby Sapphire, it's easier to build a wide board, but then they can just prep it or play Sisu and get rid of everything all at once.
And the interesting thing is like the counter to these are opposite. Whereas in like to counter this deck, you go wide because they only have 1-for-1 answers. Whereas in Ruby Sapphire, if you go wide, they like wipe you hard with a board wipe if you don't have the right counter to it. So how do you attack a format where the top two decks require completely different strategies and you get punished by doing the opposite?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's you just get rid of the cards before they can play them.
I see you like discarding cards.
I don't. I'm just throwing it out there, baby. Yeah, it's definitely not playing cards that go back into your hand. That's for certain. But I've liked Amethyst Steel so far into these decks. It's not felt too bad.
I mean, a Scrooge is maybe one, like a free Scrooge is a way to get back in this game, I guess. But it needs to be like now a crab. Danzor needs to have nothing. And his non-use of Fishbone Quills. I mean, I guess he doesn't have Oswald anymore. But previously, his choice not to use them all kind of makes me think his hand is good.
Yep. Yeah, the Scrooge is nice. The alternative casting cost is so good because you exert 4 things that really don't matter. You're not going to exert them anyway. So it's just 4 additional free ink for the turn. And now he can do 2, 3 other things. And he gets to play the Zeus. Boom. Get rid of something. Or maybe not. Goes for the Oswald instead.
What are we going to... Oh, my.
Inks Tamatoa. I just feel bad for him at this point. What do you think he was looking for there instead of playing the Zeus on like the Tamatoa or a Pete?
I don't know. I'm a little surprised that shield didn't protect the crab.
Like, yeah, I guess right. Tamatoa, I guess you do now that you know that he has a Zeus. Here comes a big one. And if this Tamatoa quests and plays the dime for free on this turn, has he been holding it this whole time?
Yes, he has.
There it is. So how much is that? That is 5, 6, 7. He has a popsicle in hand for 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's enough to win, right?
The Pete was played last turn, so he couldn't have used the Zeus.
Oh, okay. Yep, there
Chat
you go.
Is smarter than us.
Shout out to chat. Yeah, this is game. It's just crazy. Like I said before, how synergistic these two Tamas are. 10, it's like, all right, let me quest for 2 with my Tamatoa, get a free dime, play my other Tamatoa, and then exert dime for 11. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's 2 victory stars. Oh, man.
Yeah, the 2-0 in the mirror matchup. The deck lists were not very different, but the tempo is what really sealed the deal for Danzor there. Just able to come back so strong with that Scrooge in game 2 after Mason missed his turn 3. That was the turning point in the game, and he just snowballed so hard from there.
All right. Garrick, if you wanted to undeafen and mute, we can start our interview with the players.
Yep.
Oh, man. Quite the impressive amount of missing and hitting with Oswald's. Sadly, for one of you, it was mostly only one of you hitting. How did you like the mirror match?
I mean, it was a really bad luck disparity that entire match. I mean, as much as I wanted to make Oswald work, and I did and tried in set 6, I thought this would be a fun list to play, just to remind me of just trying to make it work back then. But as you can see, when Oswald works, it works great. When it doesn't, it hurts. Early bells are nice, but it's not the entire game either.
Overall, hitting the items okay, but I don't know how often I use multiple of the fish bones that I got there. I used them at least on the last turn, but I didn't need them. But it helped some on powering up the final turn, but I don't think the Oswald's hitting actually made a difference in the second game. But I don't think if he'd missed every time, I think the game pretty much went that direction anyway, where based on control with.
Yeah, it seemed like in the second game, the turning point was when the turn 3 was missed. After the bell was played, after the Oswald was played, and then turn 3 there was nothing, and then you pass it back to Danzor, who plays his 4th item on turn 3 and gets the free Scrooge.
Yeah, that was a good turn. I mean, I on turn 3 had a dime, a Zeus, a Hiram, and a Bell in hand. And I decided to keep the Bell because if I drew an uninkable the following turn and played Bell on 3, that would have by far been the game. At least being able to get a Hiram down on 4, even with no item, might have been able to help me bring it back in the game, but I just never saw more than one popsicle or Fortisphere before turn 3. So maybe it wasn't Oswald at the end of the day. Maybe it was just bad luck on the items to get everything else going along. So, I mean, it's a deck building game. If your deck just doesn't work with you, then there's not much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on that point, in your deck you had the Aurora Lore Guardian. We saw it go into the Inkwell. We unfortunately didn't get to see it on the board, but in your testing, how have you felt about that card? Why did you put it in? Has it been working for you?
I haven't actually played it yet in set 7, but in set 6, it was a really nice card to make Oswald fire like near consistently. But she's not something you play on 4 ink. She's usually something you'd play on turn 5 maybe, which is kind of replaced a bit by the Scrooge or Fishbone Quills or Maurice's Workshop early. Just whatever you need to buy you some tempo, maybe a Pete. But if you are completely ahead on the board, Aurora is a great card to just set up the most consistent Oswald you've ever seen. And the added benefit of protecting your items is nice when there's probably going to be some of the most item hate we've seen in a long time with Lorcana.
Yeah, a lot of people are out here running Benjas in full force, an army of Benjas, and Aurora just says, nope, my dimes are safe. Gotta feel pretty good.
Yeah. I like her for the scry ability, but the fact that she also has item protection is really nice, especially on a 3/3/2 lore body.
Definitely entertaining.
Yeah, definitely noticed in the second game, to go back a little bit, yeah, the third turn not having to play there was brutal. I hope you didn't just talk about that as I zoned out for half a second. But
We did, but that's okay.
dang it. I was just like, ah. So I'm finding out that certain things to properly smooth over don't work if you have folders somehow.
What I did find interesting in these games was the backbone, not necessarily the backbone, but a card that has seen a lot of value in these type of decks has been Maurice's Workshop. But neither game it really popped off that hard, if at all. I think it probably drew 1 or 2 cards throughout the 2 games. How do you two feel about Maurice's Workshop? Do you think it is a pretty necessary card in the deck to win consistently? Or was it just a case of you didn't necessarily need it in either of these matchups?
I think it's kind of necessary if you're going to go down the Oswald route, especially before Tamatoa 6 existed, because just because you need to have the draw to support it, and 4 Hirams is definitely nice, but whenever you're able to turn a Popsicle or Fortisphere into a pay 2 draw 2, it is very nice, especially when usually you got to pay 2 ink across the board to get a draw, maybe 1 if you're lucky, or if it's like stuck on a Popsicle or Fortisphere. So pay 2 draw 2 is really nice, especially when you're wanting to ink a lot and get up to a high ink count as well.
I agree, it's really good. I had very good draws in hand overall, so most of the time I was just wishboning it because it was the least useful card in my hand because my Hyrims are fueling my draw engine and I had the Tamatoas already and the dime, so it wasn't really what I needed to be doing at the time because I had everything I was mostly looking for. So
Yeah,
it just
you
was the
really
least
want
useful card.
you really want that Oswald to flip it too. Playing it down for 3 on its own, not as strong. But you'll see the red blue list running it just because it still supports so much draw and getting up to higher numbers overall in terms of your hand, your inkwell, just because you need to feel your inkwell usually from your hand if you're playing quill lists. So um, it rounds out a nice curve of draw power and just being a good item overall.
Yeah, I think those are good points, especially for players that are trying to learn the deck. And I'm sure there are plenty of people in the chat right now that are trying to learn it so they can abuse the power of Oswald and the workshop to win a bunch of set championships. But if you have the tools on the board with your Hyrims and your draw engines, you can ink it. You don't necessarily need to waste time playing it out there if you have everything assembled already. But yeah, definitely a card that you want to see in this list with so many items. I mean, with 20 items each, you're both in 19 to 20. We'll call it 20 each. You're both in a pretty good position to find items off of Oswald. And we see Fang Crossbow in one of the lists, Greystone Dragon, both running the Shield of Arendelle. Were there any other items you were thinking could make the cut to make the Oswald that much more consistent?
If we were in a meta that was a little stronger on the aggro side, a fun card I used to run was Steel Chromicon, just for that extra 1 ping damage. If you're able to bring it out with an Oswald and just combo it with, now with this set, Storms and Strengths, it can get you that 1 damage difference between your opponent keeping a character on the board or losing it. So I've tried that. It's a very fun card when it works. Hurts when it doesn't. But there really isn't much. And the Shield of Arendelle is nice because the resist that it gives can get you a favorable trade, like a Bell challenging a Bell, and obviously exists to go with the workshops, get you pay 2, draw 1. But it's kind of like a ninth popsicle like without a draw in itself.
Gotcha.
Overall, we don't have much more deck to add item. You need all the other item support cards to make the deck work.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Doesn't seem like you want to cut down many, if any, of the characters that you have. They're just all so strong and synergize so well with each other, especially those Tamatoas, as we saw pop off, especially in the second game, right? Just questing for 2, playing a free dime, and then activating the dime when you play the big Tamatoa right after is just absurd value and crazy synergy. So definitely don't want to cut back on that stuff. Oh yeah, I think those are all the questions I had. Wonder if you basically had any more, but
you got all the questions. I was like letting you do it. You were handling that way too well. So yeah, I'm distracted. Yes, you're not just doing such a good job. I'm not needed, you know. Well, thanks a lot for you guys playing. Way to go to get a victory for your team, and hopefully next week, next round, Sunflowers, you'll be able to get one for the team. You two have a great night, and we'll chat with you two both later.
Yeah.
All right, so how about you tell us where we can find you normally, Garrick, and I will post your links here.
Yes, all of my links are in the link tree. This weekend, my team is hosting an invitational tournament. It should be a lot of fun. JDZ Quest is going to be there with me. Brent Mukai is going to be there with me. And I'm going to have a co-caster who you will meet, who will be on site with me live. But we've got a bunch of top players from the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. Jonathan Lamb, Kurt Spice is going to be there. A ton of other people that have day 2 DLCs have made continentals. So it's a pretty stacked tournament. If you're interested, we're going to be streaming all day Saturday. So it should be a fun time. 64 players. It'll be on Garrick's Lorcana layer on YouTube. So if you're interested in more fun Lorcana and don't have anything to do Saturday, check us out.
All right. Wave goodbye.
Thanks for having me, Wonder. See you, everybody.
It's always a pleasure. All right, let's transition over. Bye. Why is my camera here?
Sorry, can you hear me now? There we go. Sorry about that.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
That's so exciting. That's very convenient for everyone.
Excellent.
Yes. So we just wrapped up round 1 and Lux took home. It was when I saw the 2 deck list, I was kind of like, wow, that is, after the conversation everyone has had for the past 2 days, that was exactly the matchup. People probably excited about dreading. I don't know. How did you feel about seeing the Sapphire Steel mirror match right off the bat in the new set?
You know, I will say one thing for it, that if they're all that quick, that's true. Good news. I thought it was going to be a grind. It's like, oh man, it's this mirror. It's going to be item, but then it went by a lot quicker than I thought it was. So that's one of the when you play like a lot of red blue, sometimes those matches just grind out. So if it's this quick, hey, at least the pain's over for you quickly if you're going against it.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're gonna have a mirror match, at least not be the longest mirror match of your life. But
Exactly.
we're having the opposite of a mirror match. We have 2 very different decks in round 2. I know we're not allowed to talk about them, but I heard you were excited about one of them, and I'm excited about the other one because I'm excited because I have a hypothesis about one of them. That is there a deck in this meta that doesn't need to change, and someone's testing that hypothesis in the next match.
Excellent. Well, I hope you're right too, because knowing what the deck is, I'm like, ooh, that would be nice to see that succeed.
Exactly. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So now everyone's like, what is a deck? What is a deck? But it is spice versus whatever the opposite of spice is. It's so stability. Yes. The Honda
Tale
Civic
as old
of
as
decks.
time, inevitable, whatever you want to call it.
But yeah, so we got Lux Ferrante against Heath representing the Sunflower Illumineers. So let me make sure that I have my deck. So yeah, Heath is the one that's got a deck that I'm very excited to see. I'm excited to see how some of these cards pay off because they are cards that people have been talking about for weeks. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? But then on the other side, we have Lux, who says, I don't need to change. I don't want to. I feel good.
Well, especially with all the new dual inks, there are combinations we want to see. Okay, did these get a boost? Because when we all read the cards and saw them, I'm sure there was plenty of color combinations we all thought, that doesn't really change anything, that doesn't improve any. But then we saw some that were like, hey man, this could really do it. You know, one of the, I guess, shames of that item deck is that it doesn't use any of the blue-gray ink combo colors. So hopefully we'll actually get to see some of these show off in this feature match.
Yeah, and I mean, one of these decks definitely got the boost from some of these dual ink colors, which I'm very excited to see, because that was one of the theories, is that, okay, well, they're going to print cards that make it where there's synergies that really amp it up. So I am quite excited about that element. I get very nervous looking at some of the cards because, you know, as somebody would, I think that's one of the things this weekend that was exciting is, you know, when you play against a deck, there's lines of play. You're like, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Yes.
But I think in this matchup, there's going to be lines of play that I'm interested to see. Will they know how to respond?
Yeah, there's particular cards in here that I've tested against, and it does change the way you're like, well, okay, this is never actually going to work now because of this card. So I guess I should get rid of it, or I don't know what I do with it.
Yes. So I did test against one of these decks, and it made me feel humble. I felt like a caveman seeing a Porsche is how I described it. I was like, what's happening? I'm scared.
Katie's just like,
I know. Yeah. I just started smashing my computer screen with my hands because it was so frightening to see. So it looks like they are doing some setup here. Okay. I think they're getting their lighting possibly good. We've got another dark play mat with dark sleeves, so I'm just gonna have to really
Indeed.
lock in and know how much ink is here. Well, they put it on the screen, so
Luke, go to their house with like a flashlight and like just hold it over them, so that way we can all
Luke
see
is
his nice
powerful,
moment.
but I don't know. So it looks like, yeah, they're gonna try to get some. Luke is going. That's what I'm getting from the studio in New York. That he is.
Yeah, right.
He is running as fast as he can to Kansas.
Folks, we're getting a replay from New York right now. He is on his way.
Yeah, we send automatic booth review for all.
Right? Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be fun? We have like flags we can throw and holding illegal lore.
It
That's
only
a
goes up
10-yard
from here,
penalty.
folks. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna our budget. We'll see if we have booth review, automatic booth reviews.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. That
But
would
yeah,
be fun.
so this weekend, were there any things that I mean? I think we all kind of saw some Sapphire
Yeah.
sneaking into the. I don't think anyone would be like, "What? That was crazy." But I don't know. Are you scared? Excited about the turn of the meta?
I'm nervous. I mean, Sapphire's been dominant for so long, especially like the Ruby Sapphire version. So this is kind of just another version of it. I would genuinely like to see aggro have a place in the meta because aggro should be what preys on like a control deck, right? But we've seen some of these control decks, they just knock it out of the way. So it's like if that's not preying on it, then what is its major weakness? So it would be nice to have a meta. It's not that I even enjoy aggro myself, but it would be nice to have a meta where it's like, okay, you have to respect this aggro deck, you have to fear it.
Yeah, and I think that aggro decks, I don't know. I feel like people are always like, whatever. They're a great deck to bring to set champs, but yeah, it can be hard in like the larger meta because people are like, well, I don't fear it. I just have to get to turn 5 and then my evil plan fires
exactly.
off. And so
they're great to catch you off guard for a moment, but then once you're like, oh, okay, now I know what it is. And
they're like, oh, I'm not scared of you. And you're like, oh man. I think that's how I felt playing Diggy Hole is I'd come out and be like, but you didn't expect this. And they're like, well, all I have to do is just get to my turn 5 B prep. And I'm like, you do. That
exactly.
is it. You did beat me. Dang it. So
yeah, you're like, I am out of cards now.
Yes,
well,
that was fun. I almost had you.
Oh man, I think he played Diablo. I can't quite tell what he inked.
Yes, so you'll have to bear with us. We are gonna be using our oh boy. So yeah, that is inking something play Diablo. So we look at here. So we're looking at Lux Ferrante's hand. So you might say, what is that? Is that a Honda Civic of decks? That is Ruby Amethyst. You know it, you love it. Why change if you don't have to? But we'll see. What kind of changes is Lux going to make?
Well, and I'm excited I hope this succeeds because every set, everyone knows, oh, Ruby Amethyst is dead. Don't play it anymore. Now and every time it always rises from the ashes like a phoenix. So
yeah, I mean, we saw that with Ed just piloting a very familiar looking deck to just dominate every other deck at Nationals.
Gotta respect the king. So it looks like we put out our own Diablo, this of the purple variety.
Yes.
On Lux's side. Heath, again, I didn't see what he inked originally. It looks like that's a sapphire coil, I believe.
Yes. So now
for sale.
We have fired off the ink combos of now we're looking at a emerald sapphire. So very excited. Obviously, he's teching in some new cards with the sapphire coil. He's inked it, but you do see him utilizing that in this deck.
And, I just saw that and I thought, well, what does Sapphire Coil do with an emerald? Like, it doesn't have the removal of Ruby, right? But there is one emerald card that does care about the strength of your opponent. So,
yes, to send them someplace. Who knows where?
Who knows where?
So, yeah, it is interesting that seeing that in there. Because, like you said, I was like, that's a Ruby card. But to your point,
I think that's a Kit.
Yeah, and Kit's another one where can help. The Sapphire Coil could possibly help with Kit's abilities as well. Well, no, Kit's cost or strength. My goodness.
No shift line for the Diablo, but we will go ahead and quest with it. We're not threatened by this opposing Diablo with his pitiful 0 strength.
Oh no! I was like, somehow it got darker. Oh no! But no, it's.
I think that's Luke trying to adjust it.
I know. Okay.
Okay.
So sorry. We're having, production. We're back here. We're having mysteries. But JDZ did message us in the public chat that we need to harmonize a song together. But unfortunately, I don't want to hurt our audience.
Well, I've got the pipes ready if we need it. So we did ink a magic broom on Lux's side, and he put out
a llama. That is a wanted llama, a Cusco. That's why you didn't recognize it. You haven't seen him in years. But
yeah.
So we see Lux prioritizing some card draw here. If I'm seeing that Cusco, makes me think that he's really afraid of some targets here and wanting to get as much card draw as possible on the way out.
You know, Katie, as a fan of Ruby Amethyst, there are many matches I feel I have won that I shouldn't have won simply through card advantage. That even if your deck is maybe unfavored, if you can keep 7, 4, 5, whatever cards in hand, and your opponent only has 1 or 2, you can win a lot of games that way. And that has always been Purple's strength. Is so many of these cards just keep your hand full.
Yes, and that can give you a lot of flexibility in the end game where if you have card draw, you know, like you said, you get the ability of looking at your opponent and be like, well, I have more options than you.
Yeah.
You have that one card. But we'll see here. Well, goodness, is that Clara or Hero? It
I
might
think
be
it's Hero. I think it's Hero Hamada. So this is a new one of the new cards that if a character is shifted onto it, you will actually get to draw a card for that.
Yeah, and there's 2 targets that in the new set could shift onto him. Did he have any shift targets? I guess last set was there a Floodborn Hero in set 6?
I don't remember if there was a big hero, but obviously
Yeah.
everyone knows the new dual color Baymax. It can shift onto anything. And then there's the new super strong hero, the dual color one as well.
Exactly. So Hero is now flexible. So that's why they say play a Floodborn on him versus shift.
Right.
Oh. So we do see a crab come in, pumping up a llama.
Oh, this llama's gonna take down this bird, which I guess kind of makes sense, like a little raven flying through the sky, a big llama just chomp.
Yeah, he's got a long neck, and he says you are absolutely not
Right.
going to shift into a bigger problem of a bigger Diablo, which is always something Diablos are known to do in Emerald decks.
If I could make my imagination a movie, you would see a big crab riding on the back of that llama. And he just snatch it out of the air.
That is one of the more exciting and unfortunate things of Disney Lorcana is imagining these characters being like, please don't Maui my Lilo. She's just a kid. But unfortunately, these things do happen. And in this case, Cusco came for Diablo.
We actually inked Clarabelle, which is usually a pretty crucial card in this Emerald Sapphire, and we are going to shift. There's Big Hero Hamada. Katie, do you want to tell us what this new card does?
Yes. So Big Hero Hamada is, here you go. He is the armor designer. So shift cost of 5, and your Floodborn characters that have a card under them gain evasive and ward. So double trouble here.
Absolutely. And that, of course, applies to any Floodborn shifted character you have, so not just Hero.
Exactly. So that Diablo getting him out of the way was probably a good move there because, you know, Diablo can be a problem once he's on the board. And that's one problem he doesn't think about now.
Usually in these Ruby Amethyst list as well, the only real evasive counter they have is the 5-drop Elsa. Oh, or that works too, as he comes through with a Be King Undisputed.
Yeah, and that card is one that I was like, I wonder why he included that. But I mean, that's a great case. If you only have one card on the board, it is an easy choice because that is one where you do get to choose which card you're going to get remove. Your opponent is allowed to pick, but if there's one, that choice is done.
Oh man, that has got to feel so bad for Heath. You're like, I have a warded evasive 3 Lord. What can you possibly do about it? Oh, yeah. You have untargeted removal. Oops.
That's the worst. Yeah. And I think there's the Lady Tremaine and King Undisputed are just really good at saying, I'll just work around your ward. I'll just kind of eat around it and then you can do it for me.
Big Natural Baymax comes down. He did not shift onto anything, but he's still a nice 2 lore 5/5 quester, paid with for 6 ink. And I believe Lux is now on his, puts out a Merlin Rabbit. So we'll go ahead and draw a card off of that. And we're representing at least 3 card draw on the board, which is feels great.
Yeah, and Lux is showing the power of going wide with some of these Ruby Amethyst decks early is you can just get value out of like this little Diablo that's just been uncontested for several turns and he's still there. So he didn't get to draw a card, but he's questing.
Yeah, well, and that's always been one of the downsides of the Emerald Sapphire combination is that it doesn't have any big wide board control. It's going to have to one at a time pick things off your board. So going wide has always been a very valid strategy against it.
Yes. Yeah. And they talked about that in the last match too, is you can do the one at, oh my gosh. So
did he do it again? No, the Baymax didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, he like moved it in his action piles or his discard piles. I'm not sure what he was.
Just saying. Remember that time I did that? Might do it again. He was menacing with it.
Exactly. Hey, remember this from 2 minutes ago? Yeah. Just want you to remember.
So he's showing off more removal there, showing that he has a brawl, which can be a problem for Heath's side in the next game. But right now, he's just turning cards sideways, setting out more Diablos, and feeling pretty comfy.
Man, I cannot tell you the feeling of comfort I get from the 2-cost Cusco and the Diablo, knowing that no matter what you do, I'm going to get to draw a card off of these. Like maybe unless you put them into the Inkwell, versus the Chernabog or the Broom, where it's like, well, they could do something and maybe I won't get to draw.
Just give me one turn, please. In this case. So he is going to go ahead and do
I cannot tell what that is.
I think it's Develop Your Brain. This is testing my image recognition. So
yeah, right. I think you're right. Yeah, because he put one back to the bottom. So, okay. So if it was Develop Your Brain, draw 2 cards from the top of the deck, and then you keep one and put one on the bottom. I guess technically you look at them, you don't draw them.
Yeah, and Heath is getting to the point where he can't really. He has to do something. All these guys are just one drops, one questers, but together they are 5. So he has to start possibly eating into some of these little guys, but we'll see if that's what he decided to do here.
You can either challenge the Diablo to keep all damage off yourself, or if you want to remove the potential crab power up, you could just get rid of the crab now. That way it can't enforce anything. And he does go for the Cusco. Okay.
He said, you know what? I want that out of the meta. He said, you came back in, get back out. So
he's just going to boot him all the way out of the meta. And is that Go-Go?
Kit. I think that's Kit.
Okay.
Bounce one more card to his hand here.
Yeah, apologies for the vision, folks. It's very.
No, I got here. I do flashcards before I go to bed.
Yeah, Katie's got it.
Yes. So he's gonna go ahead and bounce the Diablo back to the hand, which I think does make it where since he's not banished, no card draw there. So that is one way where it's like, oh man, you got me. There's Inkwell and back to the hand are 2 ways around that card draw.
Of course, Lux can always just replay the card for one, or just put it back into the Inkwell if it decides he's done with its prowess. Haven't really seen any Ruby cards. It's just been mono purple over there on Lux's side. Other than the B King, yeah.
That really hurt that momentum. It's funny watching a Llama and B King Undisputed really slow down the tempo on Heath's side, but they did work together to kind of stymie his plan of having 2 shifted targets or 2 shifted cards. It's kind of slowed him down there because he could have shifted that Baymax onto the Diablo with the Universal Shift.
A fox or a snake could power up the rabbit. Looks like we're actually just going to say, what's better than 1 rabbit? Yeah. 2 rabbits.
Yeah. He's really investing in his future with these cards. He's saying, I'm going to draw now and maybe later.
Yeah. Katie, it's going to be set 10, 12, 11, and purple's still just going to be playing the Merlin Mim package.
Yeah, why not? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right? Exactly.
So he's going to ink a Maui, which makes me think he's feeling pretty confident over there. He's like, I don't need a big body because he's got a lot of what I would call little weenies out there where they're not going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, Crab can, be something bigger, but in this case, he is going to quest feeling good.
Well, and this is always one of the strengths of Ruby Amethyst against a deck that also isn't running Ruby, is that you can kind of play this game with your opponent where you can go wide. So now they have to answer you. Well, how do they answer you? They probably have to go wide yourself, and then you just punish them with a Be Prepared. So
exactly. So, and he isn't so afraid because if he doesn't Be Prepared right now, he draws 4 cards.
Exactly.
Very good. And we know that he inked that Clarabelle, which makes Heath's advantage a little less good here.
I think he played another Develop Your Brain, and then that's Under the Sea. Okay, so it's singing time. We're going to sing Under the Sea and send that entire Under the Sea. Oh, yeah, excellent. So we will send the entire board, other than the crab, packing to the bottom of the deck. Technically, Heath gets to choose the order. I don't know if that really matters.
He's like,
but
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. He's like, you pick. How do you want these down there?
Now, the Under the Sea here, that is into the bottom of your player's deck. So does that evade the banishing part? Now,
however, Rabbit will draw because Rabbit's text just says leaves the field, or leaves play, one of those two. But yes, it will avoid any banishing on the Diablo. So that's about as clean an answer as you can get.
Yeah, that is the only option for a board wipe, and he's very lucky. He had my little weenies that they were all able to go with the fishes, basically.
Yeah,
so they're now
absolutely.
But it's a way to stall him. But we know that if we're gonna say who has the higher ceiling for some scary things.
Oh, there's the Ink Geyser.
Wow. It's happening. This is what we've waited. We feared. The day has come. Ink Geyser. So for people at home, this is one where each player exerts all their card in Inkwell. Then each player with more than 3 cards in Inkwell, with both of them at this point, is going to return random cards from their Inkwell and basically just keep 3 ink. So it's an equalizer.
Yeah.
So they do get some back to their hand, which is nice, but it's chaos. You don't know what you're going to get back.
We'll see how these players choose to resolve it. Looks like they're doing maybe the common way. So if you do get into matches with your opponents in real life and they have big inkwells, usually the easiest way is to just select 3, say keep
Yes.
those 3, send everything else back. So you're not sitting there going, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I wondered because, yeah, when you're against something like Sapphire, they're like, I have 30 cards in my inkwell.
Right.
Great. Wonderful.
Well, and so with a deck as well known as Ruby Amethyst, now you know, okay, it's turn 4 essentially for Lux again. What are you going to play on 4? A rabbit, a fox, and a 1 cost? Like you what's so interesting about the Ink Geyser is it now refocuses the game and lets the green blue player say, I know what threats you can put out this turn because you only have 4 ink.
Exactly. And I mean, I was saying that, oh, well, the tempo shift really goes in the favor of Ruby Amethyst, but Ink Geyser equalizes that. It essentially makes it where the tempo, nope, sorry. I know that you're headed towards your end game, but now you're back to the mid game.
Yeah. Yeah. And without any ramp, it's saying you're going to be another 4 turns off that. Be prepared if you need it. So
Lux is thinking, oh man, it's my worst nightmare. It's like your nightmare if you wake up and you're late for school and you're like, I'm 40. How can I be late for school? It's just like that. Only in this case, you're in the middle of the game and now you have 3 ink.
I like Lux challenging the kit here. It keeps the crab alive. It looks like he will be doing that, and then gets rid of the kit, turns off another potential Under the Sea sing.
Yes, yeah, and he had enough to do the singing with the Under the Sea, but now Baymax, he's like, I'm just one guy.
Yeah, and there's the fox. The fox will get powered up by the crab, and boom, pounces on that Baymax, and he self-destructs, so they both get banished.
Revenge is what we would call this play. He says, if you're going to wipe my ink, I will wipe your board. And so now we're back.
What is that? Is that the broom?
Yep, he just put out a magic Illuminary Keeper, or Magic Broom Illuminary Keeper, and said, well, it's time to start over. But he's got a lot of cards. As far as cards in hand, it looks like he has a total of 9. So
yeah,
that's quite a clutch of cards there.
Well, and this is where the Ink Geyser is such a good combo if you can have the Clarabelle out, because you throw so many cards back into their hand, but unfortunately Heath didn't have that.
Yeah, I tested against it, and he Ink Geysered me and then did a couple ramps with the Fishbone and then Bend to Your Will. And then so I had no ink, no cards, and I was like, well, this is actually the worst thing that's ever happened. But in this case, he's not going that way. He's going to play a big Diablo, a 3-cost Diablo, Inca Diablo, and then he's also starting to build his ink back up because he has ramping while Lux does not.
Yeah, but I think Bend to Your Will is almost like a GG on the spot kind of.
Yeah, I was like,
after you
okay.
beat Quelled. What are you supposed to do about that? Diablo, of course, get plenty of value for us if it can stick around, turn sideways, and start benefiting from our opponent's card draw. However, Ruby Amethyst usually has Brawl or Elsa to deal with the Diablo. I'm not sure if Lux is running that in his list, but we know he has the Brawl at least.
Yeah, Lux is saying, I have trust issues now. But I also think that Lux is sitting in, I mean, if I have so many cards in my hand, that feels pretty good as far as... Oh, sorry. Yeah, it looks like he had 8 cards. I misspoke earlier.
I think he froze.
Out of fear or technical difficulties, we shall find out.
Yeah, that's impressive if he's holding that.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
That's still out of fear.
Yeah, so for people in the chat to give a quick catch up, we are in round 2, match 1. Is that the right way? I think, but we're second game rather. So the Heath, we do know it's nighttime in Kansas. So that is what's going on there. So we are aware, unfortunately, we have not found a way to fix that. And now the screens are out, but it's all going to come back. Not the light though. Unfortunately, Kansas will still stay dark based on what I'm seeing in the chat.
Just catching some of the chat. Someone said they were in a cave. That's kind of funny.
I know. And then like people are like, fix it. And they're like, we can't. So I'm like, I'm trying. We can't. Okay. Technology in Kansas is we don't know. So we got more card draw. Lux says, you know what I could use? What I could go for right now? Maybe another card. So he plays a rabbit.
Mm-hmm. Good to get that out too before the Diablo is exerted. That way your opponent cannot benefit from the extra draw.
Yes, he said.
And we are going to manage the broom as well to get one more card draw.
Might as well, because we know that one of the advantages is, yes, he is now still 2 more turns away from a Be Prepared. Yeah. Oh. Wow. So this is a little bonus fact that we just got from the booth in New York, that the Diablo on screen is signed by none other than the man in the booth himself, Wonderland Luke. Wonderland Luke. It's not his name. Wouldn't that be cool?
We do replay one broom, and Katie, I'd kind of alluded to it earlier about the cards that seem weird with a card like Ink Geyser. That when I was testing against it, I was playing red blue, and I had these Maleficent Dragons in hand. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever even going to get to 9 for this, so I guess I'll just start chucking it away.
Yeah, I mean, you get kind of dazed and confused. In this case, he's doing again.
Speaking again.
Yeah, he's like, it's a flood. I mean, he just rebuilt his home. He just started over again. And he said, no, stop it. I want the advantage. Because he saw Lux get to 5 ink and said, no, absolutely not. You are not being prepared on my board. I'm prepared for that to not happen today.
Yeah. It's well, and again, you're essentially you're also keeping him off the Elsa if he's running it. That you're saying if you want to get rid of this Diablo on this low ink count, you're gonna have to brawl it. That's the only thing that's gonna get you out of this.
Yeah, we can see that Heath deals in dark card play and dark magic, and he is doing a double ink geyser. We had the first ink geyser of the season of the ICL, and now we did it again. So we'll see, though. I mean, Lux is, I don't know. It kind of scares me because, every time this happens, Lux just gets more and more answers.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have access to things like Pete, but I mean, his answers, like you mentioned earlier, are a few turns away, especially the most powerful ones, the Be Prepareds, the Tremaines and the Mauis of the world have to wait their turn.
And if Lux doesn't have a brawl this turn, the Heath is so Diablo's going to draw for the turn. But if he were to bounce this rabbit or banish this broom, that's at least 2 more cards coming to Heath's hand. So without brawl, this Diablo is really going to start snowballing.
Yeah, last game we said, wow, this went so fast. But we have learned that Ink Geyser is a really good way to say, let's just spend some time together. Let's really luxuriate in this match. Now Lux is still.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're not.
No, we lost the screen.
Yeah, so
there we go. Now we can see.
Okay, we're moving right along. We are these are challenging waters. There's geysers going off.
So Lux actually put down a Merlin goat. He's on 14 lore and he just turned sideways. So now he's saying, look, if you want to play around with the inkwell, you do that. Yeah. I'm just going to get to 20 and then none of that's even going to matter.
Yeah. And that's something it's easy to kind of dismiss. The goat you can never dismiss because the goat has been a problem since set 2 where he's like, you can kind of, like you said, you have your master plan, but I have inevitability. But
yeah.
We'll see. Like you mentioned, he can't wipe the board. He can send things under the sea, but now with that goat,
Diablo challenges a small broom. We did shift onto a massive Clarabelle, which she is at least a big beater. She's got a 5 strength as well as 6 willpower, so she can take out this rabbit.
And my goodness, I mean, he has at this point 9 cards. I think I'm reading that correctly now. So Heath is like, I will have 9 cards, perhaps, and then also that Diablo sideways now.
So we hit the rabbit. If we draw off the rabbit,
yep.
Are we deciding not to? Okay.
Yeah, I think, is he allowed to decide not to on the rabbit?
I think the rabbit is a may, but I'll have to double check it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you may draw a card. Wow. Okay. I've never considered it. Why would I not? But now it's like, I don't want to. You don't deserve it.
Well, and there's very few card draw effects in the game that are mandatory. Almost all of them are optional. There are 1 or 2 that it's required, but.
All right. So for the right side of the screen for viewers are not able to see. So we've got Diablo, Clarabelle. He's Ink Geyser twice, and now he is sitting at 5 ink. Yes, 5 ink, 6 lore, which as you mentioned, 6 lore is nice, but he is up against Lux, which has a goat on board, and we know that he has many cards in his hand, and one of them likely can do some bouncing.
And that's the nice thing about the old goat bounce package is it doesn't take a lot of ink to do that. It's just 3 for a fox or 2 for a snake. So again, he's like, go ahead, you can keep me on low lore, but
yeah, it's getting lore on a budget is your goal. You're like, all right,
yeah,
it's not gonna cost.
I've seen some versions of Emerald Sapphire 2 run Lucky Dime for situations like this where it's just difficult to quest to 20 on your own. So something like a dime can help you boost your way there. As the goat goes ahead and quest takes us to 15. Katie, I'm guessing we're going to bounce this.
Yeah. I mean, Lux knows that Heath is up to dark and mysterious deeds over there. So why not just get that goat back to your hand, invest in yourself, and then you only have to do this a couple more turns.
Yeah.
Now we are still on game 1. And so that was something where I was interested to see how this plays out because I mean, Ruby Amethyst is, it's a control deck, but this one is a more mid-range kind of deck the way he has it built.
Yeah.
But against a deck like Inkgeyser, suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get to the mid-range part or
Yeah.
even the end game part?
Well, and since you don't have anything like Fishbone Quill, if he's got Be Prepareds in his hands, they're just dead cards in his hands. He can't
Exactly.
use them because he's not going to get that high. Not that he maybe wants to anyway, but we will ink, looks like a Chernobog or a Diablo. And here comes, this is a second goat. What is that?
That is a purple card. That is it
A snake? I think it's a snake. No, I can't. I genuinely can't
that is
tell.
really tough. I really couldn't tell you.
The goat bounced, so it has to be like a snake or a fox, I would think. It's got to be one of those two.
I'm trying to even look at the cost, and I feel like my Lorcana flashcards, I'm going to have to get new ones.
I think it's a snake because I think he also followed up with the library, which would have been 2 and 3. So I believe it's snake, bounce a goat, play the library.
All right. And Zelda did confirm in the chat, which is my dog's name. Or it's Zelda
nice.
Downstairs. My dog might be like, hey, girl, that is a snake. And we got a library, which more insurance. We're talking about getting that lore gain incrementally. And library is a good way to say, Heath, you have to do something at the library or I'm going to get a lure next turn.
Green Blue does have some decent outs to library. It has cards like Hideaway, the big blue Cusco, even though no one really runs that, but it often runs You're Welcome as well, which, yes, not only gets it off the board, normally has the downside of giving your opponents more cards, but when they're on low ink or you have Clarabelle out, that actually kind of just becomes an upside for you.
Yeah, and Lux, I think, is signaling that, my goodness, I mean, he has 9 cards in hand. We have the library and the snake and the goat. So next turn, he could get up to 19 if he does not play his cards right, so to speak.
I love that Lux is using the dice as a card counter. When I tested this in person the other day, I had to pull out a D20, like, okay, 16 in hand because you've blown my inkwell up so many times.
And then Chad just pointed out we keep calling him Lux. His name's not Lux. His name is Ferrante. Team Lux. Ferrante.
Team Lux.
I know. I'm just being like Lux. We go way back. Me and Lux.
Our bad.
I know, but it's easy. We're fighting for our lives trying to see some of these cards. So I am sorry to Mr. Ferrante of Team Lux. But
seeing a lot of love for Katie's pup in the chat.
Yes, thank you. I am so glad. They are bad, but they are good. Oh, so he's gonna shift. That's interesting.
Actually, yeah, gives up the Diablo.
Mm-hmm. He says I don't need cards because he has 1,000.
And this does give him some really good attack power. He can run both into the library, get rid of it right away. As we can also cast a Sail the Azurite Sea, draw 1 card, and we can do an additional ink this turn if we desire.
That has been truly a shift for me, as you know, with Morph, he could be any Floodborn. In this case, anything can be Baymax, including something that's already been shifted technically, or a Floodborn character.
Yeah,
so
and he's a fun card.
Yeah, and he heals, which we just saw, where Diablo had 1 damage on him, and now he's born again and is a Diablo, a bird and a mecha that is healed.
And Diablo kind of, quote unquote, becomes redundant when you have the Clarabelle out saying, it's okay, she's going to draw me plenty of cards, so I don't necessarily have to keep the bird out there, and Baymax is at least a little harder to deal with.
So yeah, Lux just has a single snake. So he's like, dang it, we're gonna go through the full 60 minutes on this first game. And that's okay, because this is
well, and we know Ferrante has the goat in hand, right? So if we quest with the snake, play goat, when the goat leaves the field, it's essentially going to put him up to 19 lore. So if we have a second goat, this one's pretty much over.
Yes. What's better than 1 goat? 2 goats. So, but we know that Lux has most of his, almost a third of his deck in his hand currently, or sorry, a 1/6 of his deck in his hand.
Yeah.
And I just call him Lux again. I'm gonna need a shot caller. If somebody, we're gonna invest in that. Where if I get someone's name wrong, you guys can remotely, and I'll go. Ugh. So speaking of removal,
Ferrante drops Lady Tremaine.
Yeah, he says, "Who do you like more, the cow or the bird in the Baymax suit?"
I feel like, you have to pick Baymax, right? The cow has 1 more willpower. It has I guess unless you're really worried about the damage, Baymax seems the more optimal choice here.
Yeah, so he does go, oh, don't make me pick, but you got to. Lady Tremaine does not let you.
Yep. Quest, and Ferrante is completely on lethal lore here because, again, we know that goat's still waiting in hand as well. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say there's a couple spot removal kind of in Heath's deck. So, he's not out of all options, but like you said, he has to get rid of both those things, and he knows there's a goat there.
Yeah, we finally see the Sapphire Coil come down. It hasn't had much of an effect on this match. I mean, it'll let the Clarabelle trade pretty cleanly with the snake, but
Yeah, someone in the chat said, "Wait, why is red purple still a thing?" And you're seeing why, because this Honda Civic, it retains its value. It is dependable, and it does what it says on the label. In this case, it's going to be removal and card draw and some lore gain. And so we've seen that Ferrante has proven that while Ruby Amethyst is not the coolest deck in the meta, it is stable. It is driving in inclement weather. It's been multiple ink geysers, and it is still driving on a straight line forward.
all reliable.
Yeah.
He's like,
Now-
nope, can't stop me.
Now, poor Lady Tremaine. We did see the power. So for people that can't see, what he had was a Sapphire Coil. He inked, bringing that Lady Tremaine down to a 1/4, and then he played a Cloud Kicker, which then bounced that Lady Tremaine back to his hand, which he was able to do that. Or he played a T. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Well, no, I don't think he inked twice.
No, I think he
No.
just inked the Tipo, which triggered the Sapphire, and then he played the kit.
Got it. So he went ahead and traditionally challenged into that snake.
Yeah.
Traditional challenge. A traditional. as
You know,
they say.
this is rather a traditional challenge.
Yes. So, and the pudding pointed out that, like, well, I mean, has this deck changed much? I will give you guys a spoiler. There's one card from set 6. That's the newest card in Lux's deck, is a card from set 6. So Lux, Ferrante, Lux. I'm going to cover that with a sticky note. Ferrante is proving that you know, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A Lorcana card and an adage that he is living by.
As a Ruby Amethyst enjoyer and enthusiast, I was definitely disappointed with the dual color cards we got.
Yes.
I was so excited for the Taka too, because I thought the way it read that it was like anytime a card is just on the board exerted, it immediately banishes. I didn't realize, no, it has to
you have to do
become
it.
exerted. I was just like, that'd be so cool. It'd be like an alternative Be Prepared. Just like, oh, your whole board's exerted, drop the card, boom, it blows it up. But sadly,
So
no.
we are looking at a board state. So for people at home, all of you are at home. None of you are in my home, but we have a Sapphire Coil, a Clarabelle, I hope not, a kit, and then a green card, which looks like it is, or emerald card that is possibly a Clarabelle, another one, the little one. And by
Think.
little, I mean the 3-cost Contented Wallflower, I think. Maybe. That's my guess, based on the shapes analysis that I'm performing with my high-tech setup over here. But either way, Heath has been doing lots of nefarious little bouncing and ink geysering. And
Yep.
on Ferrante's side, he's just been like, okay, over and over, and just slowly questing and drawing cards.
That's a big Clarabelle. So the only way I can see Heath getting out of this is if we reduce the power of the goat with the Sapphire Coil. I don't know how many cards we have, but if we can essentially sing them away with an Under the Sea, it'll trigger one lore, and then you just hope your opponent doesn't have...
All right, so he is going to go ahead and bounce that, go back to the hand using, I believe that was You're Welcome.
I think that's You're Welcome. So the goat will go to the deck, and then we'll draw 2 cards. However, it does still leave play, so that will put our opponent on 19 lore.
Exactly. So, I mean, gosh, we know that he has currently 7 cards in hand, and the Sisu is still on board and is enormous, because that Sisu is the size of his card hand plus 1. So that is, we're looking
at... Is that
at
another one? Or is that a Bruno? Okay, that's a Bruno. So we're going to put that CISO into our hand, shuffle up that entire hand of cards, and then randomly discard one.
Yeah.
Hope he's got a D20 to roll a die for this one.
Exactly. He's like, all right, what card do you want? I've got the majority of my deck is on my playmat between his ink and his.
They're actually going to... Okay, yeah, there we go.
There we go. So he said, I'll get that Sisu.
He actually hits the C. I don't know if that was the same Sisu, but...
Yeah.
Does Bruno not just always seem to hit the very card you sent back? Oh, and he's showing I've got a goat in hand.
Yeah, my goodness. So that was impressive. That was one game, took 33 minutes, which kind of shows that Ink Geyser is a problem, but it's not an insurmountable problem, especially if you have something as wily as Amethyst on the other side.
Yeah, I think something Heath could really benefit from. Ink Geyser is way more effective when you can also ramp the turn you play it. So like, let's say you've prepped it with a Sail the Azurite Sea. when you burn the ink geyser, you lose all your ink, but then you ink twice because of the sale, and now you're all the way back up to 5. The problem is when you reset to 3, just like your opponent, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well now we're both just on 3 again. So
Exactly. And that's when I felt the most pain, is when I was against the ink geyser and they had a fishbone out, because with a fishbone and then anything like a Tipo and like you mentioned, Say Azurite Sea, they were just off to the races. And I was like going, help.
Right.
And so and they went right into a Bend to Your Will. So we saw in this case that he did the ink geyser and just never could truly ramp as fast as he needed to do anything really scary. And Lux was able to, or sorry, Ferrante was able to just stably say, okay, I'll just keep drawing cards and
right.
playing goats and bouncing them, I guess. He just did the same thing. He did the same thing Ruby Amethyst does in that position.
Good old Ruby Amethyst, just like, that's okay, I'll just do my game plan no matter what. I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, I mean, now it's a 2024 Honda Civic, which is very old in Lorcana. That's, like I said,
Right?
there's only one card newer than set 5, and it's one set 6 card.
Ruby Amethyst saw all these new Duel Links, was like, okay, none of these are going to work. Well, I'll just keep playing the
I'll just
same
keep doing it.
60 cards I've been playing. How about that?
Because what's you want to draw cards, you want to gain lore, and eventually you want to wipe the board, and it does all 3. So it's got it's a solid plan. It's just in this case it was erupted in an ink geyser twice. So we did see Ferrante take the win there. Heath is now going to be on the draw, on the. Well, I got confused there because he's highlighted green, but no, he will be on the play.
Yeah, I assume he'll go first.
Which will be interesting because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask. Looking back at that game, and granted, it's a little hard when we can't really see the boards as well. Is there anything you think Heath could have done differently, or do you think pretty much played it out the best based on what he had?
I mean, I think it's just like we mentioned, like the fact that he wasn't able to ramp faster means that they are both playing in that mid-range kind of grindy game for longer than I think is ideal for Heath. Because I mean, I think where you really shine, once he had the Clarabelle and the Baymax out, you could see that. I mean, he was making Ferrante be more defensive. But I think knowing that he kind of hung out in that middle link category, it made it difficult for him to do anything that truly put Ferrante out of the game for good.
Yeah, that first B King Undisputed too, that really punished him. If he could have kept his character around for longer.
Yes, that is a good point. That coming right out there with a card that you don't see very often. I feel like the lesser known lyrics of Be Prepared, Teeth and Ambitions, and Be King Undisputed. You don't see them, but when you see them, you're like, what? Where'd you get that in that case?
Well, and that's one of those cards that, because it's uninkable, when it's great, like when it's that perfect situation, you're just like, oh man, this is one of the best cards in Ruby. And then other times when they have a white board, you're like, oh, well, this card's awful. It's going to get rid of a Tipo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. So people in the chat, we do know that it is dark, but we will let you know, Heath, he is in Kansas and we don't know what the situation is there. But he has mentioned he can't make it brighter. So we're going to do our best. I have practiced. I've looked at every card and I will do my best. We only got one wrong, and it was snake, and it was weird and it didn't look like a snake, and that was on us. But otherwise, I think we got most of them. Oh man. He's going to ink so he's going to ink a Tipo and play, oh goodness, a Diablo. That's all he has. That's a 1 cost. So it's a little baby Diablo. And that's going to show his hand. And, classic.
Sisu Fox, Diablo, Broom.
Brawl.
There is a Brawl there. I think potentially a Crab as well. Oh, we actually shifted Diablo right away. Yeah, looks like we immediately shifted it.
Yeah, interesting.
I wonder why. What were we worried about that? Yeah, I don't know if there was really any advantage to shifting it that turn versus waiting a turn.
Yeah, because I mean, he can't do. I don't know. Maybe he's just like,
like the only thing he can play is a Diablo, a Chernobog, a Broom. Like, there's nothing he can play to stop.
He had one card he absolutely knew, no matter what would happen, he wanted to discard it. Which, who knows what it looks like. It was. You're welcome. That was a guess.
Yeah. Bird on bird action as purple Diablo comes down as well. And now we have 2 birds staring at each other across from the board. But of course, Heath's bird is much larger.
Yeah, but we do know that Ferrante is very happy to have that bird be a sacrificial pawn. But that Diablo is going to turn sideways this turn no matter what. And our card draw is about to start.
And Heath follows up with a morph as well, so we can threaten to turn this into Baymax, Clarabelle, even the hero that we saw earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and so he got his first Diablo card draw just now. And he's thinking. We're all thinking.
He won't get to the hero in time to prevent it, but if hero ever can get out on the board with that Diablo there, giving it ward is very impactful because now you can't brawl it. Like you can't exert it with the Elsa. It gives it such another layer of protection.
We saw that in a match, I believe one of the last games of last round, where there was Sherwood Forest and everyone was hiding in the forest, but Sherwood Forest gives those character reward. And I just
Yeah.
imagine them all huddled under the trees being like, you can't get us. And
Yeah.
Diablo, Diablo with ward, you're like, stop. Because he's just flying around and saying, you can't get me.
When hero has all that technology, so he's probably just like putting up like
Yeah.
a big Iron Man shield protecting him.
Laser beams.
Laser beams.
So we appreciate everyone today bearing with us. This is, it's the first night of ICL for round 2 and it's the new meta. It's no power in Kansas. We are, we're rolling with it. And we appreciate everyone in the chat for hanging around.
Exactly.
But I will say that, that new hero card of the art, we have the original art, we have the set champs art, and we have the enchanted art. Which is the one that you think reigns supreme?
Let me look at them.
Yeah.
Well, we got this
I will
small
say,
break
I mean,
here.
the right answer is the enchanted because
Oh,
it
okay,
looks
go ahead.
like gorillas. I feel Liam pointed that out on the Illumineers. I was like, it does. He looks like a
Yeah.
little gorillas character, which I don't know. I'm aging myself here.
He does, but no, I mean, and who doesn't like Feels Good Incorporated, but I don't know. I kind of am partial to the one on the mat. Like I've always been a fan of characters that have like forward motion
That's true.
coming at you, the
Mhm.
viewer. So I do like that one.
Yeah, and it's very rare that we get so many arts to choose from, which that's the direction I hope we're going. This is as we have, all the time.
Yeah,
who knows where the game went?
absolutely.
I love alternate art. I want alternate art of everything because why not? Why not let me buy the same card several times? I'll do it.
Right.
So they know this. Someone has said perhaps he is camping outside. And it's possible.
He's just by his fireplace out there roasting marshmallows and trying to play Lorcana. That's funny. That's some dedication to the game, man, when you're taking it on a camping trip.
Yeah, I did. I went on a cruise and I forced my entire family. I said, we're playing sealed of Lorcana. And this was set 3. So I was like, it's going to be fun. We're all going to learn. I even brought pins. I had prizes. But I did say, I'm a cool aunt, but I'm not that cool. They did not get to keep the cards. So I was like, sorry. These are hard to get. Now maybe I'd let them keep it. But this was back in the hard times where every man for himself. You can't just be giving out cards to people.
Did you go to a sealed event, Katie?
I did on Friday. It was rough. The cards were not in my favor, but
did you get to see anyone play with your spoiler?
I did not, and I really wanted to because I really do believe that could be a tempo card. And
yeah.
So it looks like while we were out, it looks like some things happened. We have some steel coil on the
Sapphire
board.
coil, yep.
Or sorry, steel coil. That's not even an option, but so yeah, we have. Okay, so we're going. Looks like something got brawled. We missed a lot, and together we're gonna catch up.
Yeah, unless that's Diablo between the morph and the sapphire coil. I'm assuming Diablo got brawled. We just dropped Sisu on the left side. Looks like Snake probably bounced something as well.
Yes.
So we haven't seen him yet, and I want your opinion on this. Flynn Rider, do you think he's out in Ruby Sapphire or Ruby Amethyst, or is it like, no, you should still run him?
I mean, oh my goodness.
I haven't given up on Flynn yet personally, so I'm gonna keep trying.
Knowing that if he'd had ward, that'd be cool. But no, I mean, he's so fragile, and knowing that now you can do both Cinderella and Belle can be singing the Storm Rage on. Oh my gosh, he's a fragile young man.
I think that's a second morph we're putting out on Heath's side, just threatening to hopefully shift an entire board with hero, then protect everyone.
It is crazy to think, though, that now we have 2 turn 1 singers that are here to just sing a beautiful song to destroy any of your 2 cost characters.
Yeah.
Or even up to 3 with strength. So I'm shaking in my boots.
I believe hero is in the center as well. So I think it's morph, hero, morph. So we have a lot of shift options.
Yes. And as we know, there's a Baymax that could be any of them. Baymax could be, you could put morph in a Baymax suit.
Yeah.
Morph can be a Clarabelle. It could be anybody's. line of play, which makes it hard for a Ferrante because then he can't really know what to target.
Well, it looks like he still's on about 5 inks. We haven't really gotten any ramp this game. Ferrante will also go up to 5 ink.
Yes, and is going, please let me keep it. I think I deserved it. I think I deserve to keep some ink this time. Because Ink Geyser, it's only 3 costs, which makes sense. You have to have at least 3 to get rid of some.
We will ink a large Maui, the reckless one, and then we will bring down, looks like, I think that's a crab and a broom.
Yep, the Illuminary sweeper himself. And now you've seen him ink Maui twice. Do you think it's because he has a second Maui, or he's just valuing going wide in this game, knowing that hard removal?
Yeah, I think he feels like he's going to set the tone. He doesn't really need to answer anything his opponent has. It went well for him last time. So you sometimes when a player wins the first game, they'll just try the same method again and say, okay, prove to me you can beat it. You know, and sometimes it won't work, but sometimes it does and just says, yeah, show me you can beat this idea.
Yeah, and the Sisu is sitting here. It's the opponent. I always forget that part. So in that case, then I don't know how many cards Heath has.
Yeah, I can't see either.
It could be anyone's guess. But he is going to go ahead and shift onto Hero himself.
Hero doing like another Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then the Baymax suit comes around him and he's like, let's go.
That is my new flavor of this set, is who's inside the suit.
Right?
Tipo in the suit, terrifying. I don't want
Yeah.
Tipo to get in the suit, but Hero in the suit is somehow a little less scary than we did see Diablo in the suit. And he is going to go ahead and play Sail, maybe? Or he's inking. I don't know.
So
I'm
he's
so
inking
sorry.
the sail. Yeah,
Okay.
and Ferrante has been tilting the cards to show which ones have been targeted by Sapphire Coil. So I believe he
Got
inked
it.
sail, targeted the CC with the Sapphire Coil. I don't know how many cards he had in hand, so I'm not sure how much damage that Baymax took, if any.
Sorry, the comments in the chat are killing me. If you see me look away and just giggle, you guys are
No, it's okay.
absolutely out of pocket. Is he in the Shadow Realm? No, he's not in the Shadow Realm. He's in Kansas. But so yes, we do see second morph is going to go ahead and just take out the Diablo, which is interesting because it's giving more cards to Ferrante's hand here.
Well, and that's also something I think you may have to just bite the bullet on, that when they have these Diablos, there's just so
Eventually,
little you can do. Yeah, they're going to get it at some point. So,
and that's such a good point, because I've had matches where people underestimate a bird just questing for free over and over and over again. And you know, I got 5 lore off of you not being afraid of me drawing 1 card.
Yeah. I've seen people, I just don't want to make them draw. It's like, well, they're going to draw at some point, so don't let them get 5 lore off of it in the first place.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna stop looking at chat. All right.
Okay, so this morph is easy pickings for either the snake or the crab.
Yes.
You could no, right now you're gonna have to send it both in to take out Baymax.
I mean, we know that he might have a Tremaine in his hand, so I mean, he could do some pretty dastardly deeds here. He's gonna send that.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's gonna sing Friends and try to get some dastardly deeds in his hand.
That Krabs has friends on the other side. Tremaine, we will probably just get eaten up by that morph. Is the only other problem.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to do some like challenging, fun stuff. You know, I don't know. I mean,
Fox is still really good here because if the
true.
Fox bounces the crab, then you can just one shot the Baymax. But it looks like we're challenging. I'm guessing it's the morph because he put 2 die counter on it, or no? Oh, maybe. Oh, okay, yeah. I was like,
yeah, he's like, please. So
I've played some newer players at locals like that where I'm like, okay, challenge this, and they just stand there looking at me like, that means get rid of it. It's gone.
He is no longer with us. That is a past tense morph. So he is gonna go ahead and ink a Diablo, quest with that broom, and then what is he gonna slap down on this board?
Is it the Tremaine? It is. You called it.
I said do it, and he said okay, I'll do it.
Now I'll say the only way you do not get rid of the morph is if you have a Clarabelle you want to shift, but.
Yeah, in this case, he says, fine, I'll get rid of that morph, which makes me think, he doesn't have.
Well, and you'll be on 7 ink, though. You can naturally play the Clarabelle this turn if you've got it. Again, it's kind of hard to tell what the hand count is, so I can't really say who's going to benefit from it. But
where he is, what he has.
Katie, it's hard to tell a lot of things.
Yeah, we know he's here. We can see movement, and we can see there's a Sapphire Coil and a Baymax standing alone in a dark room.
The reveal at the end is that he's actually been playing with Uno cards the whole time.
Yeah, we're like, dang it, we just hallucinated that entire map. Okay, so oh wow, we have like a vote going on. People are saying, who do you have, Lux or Sunflower Lumineers? Now, Luxury has luxury lighting, but Sunflower Lumineers has grit. So I don't know who I'd vote for.
And there's that ink geyser.
Yep. So we know it. We love it. Now, an interesting thing to note is we have 12 minutes left, and the matches go to 60 minutes here at the ICL, and then it goes to turns. So I feel like, I don't know. It's possible that Ferrante could get this wrapped up, but Heath is trying to put the brakes on that.
Well, and so this is my one concern for Heath too, is like, I don't think he's been leading at any point throughout this entire match. He's constantly been chasing Ferrante. So, and like the ink geyser's nice. Yeah, it resets the ink, but it reset your own. Okay, now what are you going to do with 3 ink when he has 4 characters on board?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to decide, what do I want? What is more disturbing to have happen to you? It looks like he sent that.
I think he sent Baymax into the crab.
Yes, it does. I mean, knowing what the yes, I don't see damage on the Baymax. Maybe he's waiting to do it, perhaps.
I think there might be a little die there.
Okay.
Well, we need someone to like Mission Impossible style, like come down on a zip line above him with a big
Apparently he's in a
lamp
place that's unreachable by friends or family, but it has a good internet connection. All right. So we do have Ferrante's in a very familiar, probably, I don't know if I'd be having fun being in Geyser for the 3rd time, but we're all going to have to get used to it because that's the world we're living in now. He's going to quest with that broom, which makes me think he's about to play a character and try to get another card.
Out comes Snake.
Diablo. That's
Fox?
it. Or no, Fox.
That's
Sorry.
Fox,
My
yeah,
God.
okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, again, it's difficult.
Oh, and
to
he had
see,
it was
so.
a secret dice. It was a dark dice. The other one's white, but he had a
okay.
black playmat, black dice, no light. It's the secret. His name is Heath, but maybe it's stealth.
I mean, this is just looking like game 1 all over again. Again, yeah, you hit him with the ink geyser, but your opponent's on 11 lore. They're halfway there. You're still on 2. Like, not only do you have to stop their board, this is, I think, one of the most difficult things in just Lorcana, period, as a game, that because when you challenge, you're not questing for lore. Not only do you have to stop this board, you then have to get to 20 yourself. I don't know how you're going to do that.
Yeah, and it's you never want to be, I don't know, something against a Sicilian. You never want to be in a top deck match or any kind of late game match against Ruby Amethyst, because they have so many fun, evil things to do. And we've seen that Ferrante is not phased by the shenanigans of losing ink. He just says, okay, I got goats, I got libraries. What do you want? I've driven this car for 100 years and I'll drive it for 100 more. And there we see it. We see the goat that fears nothing, the goat that says, you know what, he's just going to keep going. He says, why not? I got 10 minutes left. I don't know what you're up to over there. We do see a Sapphire Coil, and there is 1 card on the board. Is that the Clarabelle?
It briefly got darker, if that's possible.
Yeah, if possible. Somehow. My eyes are adjusting. If the next match, if they have lights, we're all going to go blind. All right, so... My goodness, what is it? A kit? I'm gonna do. I don't know. If anybody in the chat, you can get 1. It's a kit cloud kicker on the board. The man in the booth told us. Sorry.
Yeah, it says a replay assist.
Yeah, someone in the chat says, "I'll just quest because I don't know what you have over there." And honestly, that is kind of sometimes what Ruby Amethyst ends up being. Is I don't know what you're gonna do, but I have a plan, and it's just play cards, draw cards, stop what you're doing. And I know that sounds very reductionist of what Ruby Amethyst is, but knowing that it hasn't changed plans in quite literally 5 sets, it makes me think that, it's a plan that they don't really have to play around too much of what their opponent's doing.
Heath is struggling, and I'll bring this up in the interviews afterwards too. But one piece of tech I do really like. I like the combination of the Sapphire Coil with the kit Cloud Kicker. There's so many matches where I felt like the kit just doesn't even have a target. You're like, everything has way too much strength. What am I even playing this card for? But the coil, I mean, essentially says anything with 4 strength or, the kit can suddenly hit. So I do like that combination.
Especially in a deck with some ramp. So in theory, that coil can hit twice in a turn, bringing something like a Clarabelle down to a 1/6. If you use against something that had 5 strength, a Maui suddenly could be kit cloud kickered.
Yeah, which is pretty exciting.
I'm going to verb Kit's name. Now he's going to shift that Kit. The bear, get in the suit, Kit. And Kit is in the suit, challenging into Lady Tremaine. Now we do know that is one cool trick, but Ferrante is sitting here with 3 lore on board and a goat ambiently hanging in the air.
Tremaine was sitting in her throne, and Baymax popped up and went, "I do not respect your decorum."
Yes, you are mean to a teenage girl for no reason.
Ba-da-la-da-la-da-la-la.
Yeah, right. That is not good behavior. So we do see Ferrante seeing cool, collected, just keep playing. Now is he gonna, yep, he will
Oh,
go ahead and get one more. And
Eh.
he's,
yeah, that's gonna. There's nothing you
Oh
can
my
do with a
goodness.
goat in hand, and
you know, he says, I'll just show you. And that was why sometimes you see Honda Civics that should have been retired a long time ago, just driving down the road. So, so we are gonna go so
Excellent.
we are gonna go get moved. All right. So
In game
we
two,
are
I
gonna
had
switch.
a really good
I was
start.
not
and
expecting.
then-
Was not expecting you guys at game one
Yeah.
when you dropped it.
All right. Can you guys hear us? Great players.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So Heath, the question on everyone's mind is where are you and are you okay?
Listen,
Are you safe where you are?
this is like the only time I've not played Rumi Amethyst. So
Yeah. Oh, so that must have been hard then. So
I knew
yeah.
right away pretty much both games when I was gonna lose, but I tried anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that was a classic Ruby Amethyst. I mean, more classic, no changes. So was that a matchup? I mean, as far as playing this deck, you probably only played it, for 2 days. But is this
Less
a
than
deck
that.
where there's certain matchups you fear more than others, or was this something that?
Just pretty much just this one. I haven't really tested against Blue Steel, but I knew generally how to try to control this game. But game one, I just played right into B King instead of not questing and sacking the Diablo. And then game two, I had the best, like a really good opening, and then drew the extra cards. But I had a bunch of coils and ink geysers in my hand, and no shift cards, so I stalled out and died.
Yeah, well, we did see
Sorry.
some very
Wow.
exciting tech as far as like the Sapphire Coil. That was a very fun thing to see Kit actually get to do some work. So on the other side, so we had Spice City over here where you are, Heath.
Nice city.
But on Ferrante's side, you said, I'm good. So what made you decide that you were not afraid of set 7? In fact, you don't even need set 6 barely.
Yeah, you don't need set 7 to play this deck. It's the best deck on the format. Like I tell everybody.
I agree.
No, you just no, you just no, I not that I couldn't get set 7 cards. I mean, I had some other spicy lists, but I just couldn't get all of the cards, and then I just resorted back to trying to be like, okay, see if this deck can compete with set 7 decks, and it did. I teched in the B Kings,
Yeah.
for the Tamatoas and stuff like that, and or like this matchup. I wasn't really expecting this matchup, but this matchup those come in big to hit the new shift hero. It's easy base the awards, so you got to make them sacrifice it and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. I would say I'm glad you brought that up, Ferrante, because the B King, I think, is one of those cards that we've seen kind of coming in and out of the list. Was it the Tamatoa specifically you were teching it for? Was there any other reasons you really like that card?
I mean, I feel like you got to like try and get. You can't leave too many threats on the board. You got to allow them to like trade so that you can trade. Like you might give favorable trades like with like your Crab and your Diablo, like up to a Calhoun or something like that. But then like you trade back so that they just have one guy on the board to like your Crab or I mean your rabbit or your goat or something, so you can sing it, or an Elsa, 5-drop to pick off like the Tipo, so that they just have one guy on the board.
Yeah.
And like the blue steel list and the red blue list, like they try to survive with like that one shark or the crab to get them the free dime. Like if I can just get the crab off the board, they still got to pay 7 the next turn for the dime rather than just getting it for free.
Yeah.
And that was my theory on that. That's why I still played the one Dragonfire. I think spot removal is going to be big this format.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Kind of piggybacking on that, are you off the Medusa?
Yeah, for now I was just testing the 3. Like I said, I was testing the 3 Tremaines and no Medusas.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't, like if I play on turn 6, if I don't have a target for Medusa, then I'm doing something else, and like then Medusa's just dead in my hand waiting for it to do something. And Tremaine, I can just plain do anything with it, and I can shift and bounce 2 Tremaines back to my hand. Like that play's been broken since Tremaine's come out. Shift
Yeah.
Tremaine, bounce them both back to your hand. So,
Now,
yeah.
we did notice that so everyone's favorite frenemy was gone. Now, my hypothesis is because now we have two people who can get rid of Flynn. Was there any reason that you cut Flynn from this classic lineup?
Yeah, I mean, just the new card Bell too. I mean, if they just, it's like another one just gets eaten up by steel removal. So like during the green steel format and stuff like that, like when they just ship Diablo and kill your Flynn, you just like kind of like instantly lose those games. So the kind of the same thing as blue steel. Like if I waste my turn 2 on a Flynn and then they just storm it, I probably lose that game rather than if I play a Cusco, I'm at least getting a card back for when they're drawing a card off of the storm. And they're really not going to strength a Cusco. I mean, they might. And it just adds another body for Crab. I think Crab's really big this format also. Like pumping up your Diablo and your Cusco to take out the Bells and the Calhouns and stuff. I think that's really big.
Yeah. No, that's great. Heath, I want to ask you about that new hero Hamada, the armor designer. The payoff of that card is huge, that you can just have this board full of evasives and wards, and he quests for so much lore. In whatever amount of testing you've done, how has he treated you?
I wish I can give you an answer. I have been so busy with life, I haven't really been able to test like that much at all. I do know it's great against like blue steel, because
Yeah.
they can't really do anything against it. It helps just protect the board and allows you to try and like get around them going wide, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Along with the other bounce stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I was saying to Katie during the match that I don't know if you did this intentionally or not, but it was a great combo piece that the Sapphire Coil combined with the Kit Cloud Kicker I thought was really impressive, because in the past I felt Kit, sometimes he just has no targets to hit. It's like everything has 4 and 3 and 5 strength. So seeing your use of the coil to allow you to bounce these cards you normally wouldn't actually seemed like a pretty potent direction for Emerald Sapphire to potentially go in.
Yeah, it complements Kit. This version we upped it to 4 to make Under the Sea a lot better. It helps with trading. That way our guys stay out longer. It's been really good.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it looked good. I liked Under the Sea combo too.
Yeah. And I don't mind inking them to a certain point because Geyser just gets them back.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it seems like.
Yeah, well, and you didn't see too many lists run Ice Block for that same effect, but again, that was an uninkable, right? You were kind of stuck with it. So whereas the Sapphire Coil, like you said, hey, if you got spares, you can just ink it, which is great.
Right. Yeah, and I only have like 11 uninkables, but I seem to draw them a lot, so I always have to ink. It gets awkward a lot.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say game 1. Like I did not see ink. Like I know it's a new card, I just didn't see it coming, and like I was really like, I was like, don't play Bend. I was like, if he plays Bend to my will right here, I just instantly lose. And then he ink geysered, and I was like, oh, he just kind of like reset the game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I had to. The develop your brain. I had to find Under the Sea, and I did, to tuck like 4 your dudes, and then try and reset and do something before you start getting all that card advantage, because that's what purple does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that was a truly exciting match. So thank you both so much. We have, I said, a second win here from Ferrante. And so, yeah, we're going to go ahead. Thank you both, Heath and Ferrante, for that wonderful match.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ferrante.
And I also want to thank the viewers at home, and because that was, we all bonded together over that with technical difficulties. We tested our abilities of seeing cards. So thank you, viewers, and also thank you to our judge tonight. We have the wonderful and talented John providing that judge and watching the screen and going, I got this. So we would like to thank John and his beautiful eyes. And also the Lorcana Rulebook Hub for providing, the greatest judges you can have, which really, I think, they're what makes us, a set above. You got eyes, eagle eyes here. So thank you to our judges.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely. You guys did a great job. And guys, Kate, don't go anywhere because we've got another great set of matches for you coming up. So I want to thank Katie for hosting with me, as well as Luke and the league for putting it together. Feel free to check out my link tree in the comments. I'm always happy to come here and bring a little Lorcana action to all of you. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you.
Yeah. And goodbye as well for me. My link tree will be in the chat at some point, and you'll see me. I'll be around whether you like it or not. So thank you, and we're going to go to round 3 to brighter days ahead.
Brighter days ahead. Bye.
Brighter days, hopefully.
I love it. And we're out of the shadows and we're into the light. And it is me, your
out
boy.
of that shadow realm.
I love it. I love it. That was really good, though. I love the commitment. I love how they stuck to it. Even though you're sitting in pure darkness, I think it worked out really great. But it's me, JDZ Quest, and we have Rebecca Quest. We have 2 quests in the booth.
2 quests.
I love it. It's my cousin. We're related.
Yes. Hey, cousin. Nice to see you.
It's nice to be here. It's nice to be here. And I'm so excited to do this. I'm a big fan of you. And we've never had the opportunity to work together, so I'm looking forward to it. And we're here on a Monday night ICL, and it's going to be a great match. It's been a great match so far, and I'm hoping that maintains and continues. Are you ready to do this, Rebecca?
I am ready. Round 3. So Lux took both round 1 and round 2. So we'll see how round 3 turns out. But man, these first games that we're seeing from the weekend and today for Arcasia's Island have been so exciting. So many amazing new cards and everything. And I can't wait to see what these players brought this evening.
Absolutely. I think they're just trying to avoid that true sweep. No one wants to go out with a complete goose egg on the win column. So Ducky's got a lot of weight to carry here. You don't want to go out like that.
I'm using
all the games getting swept because I think it was a sweeping game round 1 and it was a sweeping round number 2. So we got to at least get one of these games in right now. So it's a lot of pressure. No pressure. But I think
no pressure, but also a lot of pressure.
You want to get at least one in the win column here going into this all-important round number 3 on a Monday. Let's go. Monday night ICL. Let's pump up and let's get motivated as these players are locked in.
Lucas, I'm asking your camera.
We got
how you're streaming
in the background. We're getting all beautified and set up.
I'm using
Again, huge shout out to Luke Wonderland. If you guys see these beautiful graphics that are on your screen, it looks a lot better as we're trying to continue to elevate the program here at the ICL to make it a little bit better. So I enjoyed the process, and I think it's going to continue to increase. I like it a lot.
I think so. And I think this has just been such an amazing way to have not only giving the players more opportunities to play games, but giving the whole Lorcana community more opportunities to see some really fantastic games with all these teams that are involved with the ICL. So huge props to Wonderland and all the team that are putting on the ICL. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to bring this all to you. And so glad that I'm getting to be a part of it. This very small part feels like.
Your part has been noticed. You have been identified. We appreciate you coming by and sharing your voice and bringing some life to the ICL because we all feel very strongly about it. We feel it's very important, and what we're trying to accomplish here by providing high-level competitive gameplay live right into your homes. I think it's just something that is missing in the content space of Lorcana right now. I think ICL is in the perfect spot to bring that to fruition. So I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad that you're a part of it, and I'm glad that everyone here on a Monday night. Okay, we don't
Monday.
The Monday's new.
Yep.
Usually it's Wednesday, Friday thing, but I enjoy working it in on a Monday after that long, hard weekend. So Rebecca, what are you playing?
It was an amazing weekend.
It was a really good one.
Let's talk about this weekend because it was release weekend. Did you get to any events with the new set? What were you doing this weekend?
Rebecca, I embarrassed myself. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna embarrass myself. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I was fully prepared to go to a 1-case event. I had it all lined up. I saw the ad, I had the flyer, had everything going. I show up and the thing had already started because I read the wrong date. They gave me the wrong time, and I was so upset. And I drove like 45 minutes to get out there too. Completely cooked, but it was okay. It was okay. We ended up just my wife and I showed up together. We ended up just running some scrimmages against each other and had a good time. We made the time out of it, so it was still fun. How about you? Did you get to any sets, any seals, any drafts?
I went to 2 sealed events. So Friday night was a sealed event at my regular LGS, and the cards were. I did not get. I got beat down by spaghetti dinner. Let me just tell you.
Let's go.
Spaghetti dinner took me down. And then on Saturday, that was Friday night, and Saturday we went to a sealed 2v2, and my son and I played together.
I'm
And
just
it was
doing
a
it
really
by
fun
feel
event.
right
Some
now.
friends
So
of
do you
ours
need
put
it
on,
more
and
vertical or
everyone was
horizontal?
Disney bounding and dressing up in their Disney
Nice,
best.
nice.
And the way they did that event also was really fun. They didn't do prizing at the end. It was just a pack per win. So
Oh, okay.
you got your packs as you went, and so it's a little more casual, but a lot of fun and a really great way to get introduced and jumped into this new set of cards.
Okay, I wish I need to go to where you are. I think I need a little bit more of because my people here they're very I'm talking it's saturated with sweat. We got the sweaties up here. I'm so everyone's grinding. It's a slugfest, and I'm like, dude, I want to bounce. I want to dress up. I want to sing songs. I want to have some karaoke. I want to have a good time, and
We'll do it.
We'll
We
make it
are
happen.
ready to jump in here.
Is it happening?
Like
Is it time? Let's go.
Ducky, we've got Gabe, and we are getting ready for our round 3 here. Lux versus Sunflower, Illumineers. And looks like on one side we have some Amethyst out on the board with that broom.
And that's a good sign to start. And it looks like we're already into the second turn as we got an ink, and we're gonna play. That appears to be. What is that? I can't see. I'm having a hard time making out what that is.
I'm having a hard time as well.
we thought we got through. We were done with the darkness, but it seems like we're still having a little bit of visual. It looks like maybe is that a cursed merfolk? No, it's not cursed merfolk. Is that a
snake?
What is that? I can't even. Is that a kit? Cloud kicker? The 1-cost kit? Spunky Bear? That might be a kid. The warded guy. It is.
Could be. I'm
think
so
you are
sorry. Right.
My lighting situation.
That's the warded kit. The 0-1. This is another one of my least favorite cards in Disney Lorcana.
It's gonna get,
I just don't like cards with the 0
it's either
in the strength.
Gonna be too dark or too light.
Seems not chill. But he's there. As we've got
He's there.
It looks like we got another blue-green versus something amethyst. It could be another ruby amethyst, but maybe something different. We'll find out here soon.
We will. We have a snake there in the inkwell, and I'm not sure. It looks like Gabe has walked away from his chair. So something's going on there. There's the pause. There's a pause on the game right now.
I like it.
Oh,
this is good. This is good. I think this is a good spot. We got a nice backlighting, and you got the little shield there to give you a little bit better light. I think it's better now, so we can see that is in fact the cloud kicker, and it looks like we have. I think Gabe's on the play, but I believe that the name tags on the stream production. I think we might have to look at that again. I think the names might be incorrect. I think Gabe is actually going to be on the left, and Ducky is going to be on the right. If that is something that we can switch it up. But the lighting on Ducky's side is now very, very good. So we should be able to get through the rest of the game. As the other color is going to be steel. Amethyst steel.
Amethyst Steel is such a fun deck to play, and it looks so good in this new set. So I'm excited to see Ducky's build and what he has going on here. We got that Smee. Oh, wait. Oh, I think you're okay. Okay, so Gabe is the one playing Amethyst Steel over here. Ducky with the emerald, dropping that Ursula and taking a look. We got a rabbit. Is that a Pete? And a rose, I think, behind there on Gabe's side. Yeah, this Amethyst Steel deck is going to be fun. What do you think of it, JD?
This might be the deck that can kind of help break the meta open. I think making an Amethyst Steel deck that is truly designed to just get after the lore, straight burn them out. You got white roses, you got the giant cobras, you have the goats, you have the bounce and all that normal stuff. Maybe put in some questions in early and just try to get to the lore quickly. I think that might be a way to shake up this meta from this control ruby sapphire blue steel thing that we're going to be in, because right now it seems like those two decks are just way more powerful than they've ever been, and if we don't have anything to contest them, it just might turn into a slog fest, and we might need another deck. And I think Amethyst Steel is in a good spot to do that. Is that your deck of choice? Is that what you're out here playing?
I have played Amethyst Steel before. Usually I'm a Ruby Amethyst girl. So, but I'm eyeing Amethyst Steel this set because I don't know, Ruby Amethyst. We just saw it take it last round. So maybe it still's got some legs, but there's so much Sapphire out there. It's Sapphire's world. We're all just living in it.
Absolutely. And it's just, it's a hard road. It's a hard road to ride. If you're not, and I guess you got to get it. If you can't beat them, you got to join them, but it's just the game just takes so long, and it's just such a slog every single time. And I don't know if that's the way that it's got to be, but we still love the game. We'll still make it happen. As it looks like Ducky is trying to figure out what to do now. Maybe you're thinking of questing here, or shift into a shifted kit could be the
Kit?
play.
Yeah, there is a kit that shifts on turn 3. So if he has it in hand, that would be something great to do here, because that kit, I believe, does quite. I think he quests for 3,
Yeah, it
right?
does. It has
Yeah,
ward and
yeah.
quest for 3. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that'd be fun. I like it.
So if we can
Let's
see
see
that
what he
guy come
has.
in, that will be a good play. And if you can put that beside the Hamada Floodborn with a shift underneath and give that thing evasive as well, you're on your way. So I think this might be another interesting deck that can have a place in this metagame.
There, that is him, right?
And
there
that's him.
he
Yeah, you
is.
see there. Look at that. And
He's
we're going to go
here.
and add, we're actually coming out, we're clearing the SME as well. So just trying to break up the burn potential, just taking out some of that lore. So you could potentially lose this kit next turn, but taking a 2 for 2, probably not the worst, as you just quest for 1 with the Ursula and throw it back on over.
Yeah, I think that with the Amethyst Steel, one of the things it wants to do is quest really fast, right? Like you
Mhm.
were saying. And so Ducky kind of wants to stop Gabe here from he's already ahead in lore. And so trying to slow him down is going to be the way to go. And he does lose that kit there to the Rose, but maybe it was worth it because that Smee was questing for 2 each turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could have got a little bit more value there if you got a couple more quests out of that thing before you start making those trades. But I guess you're to your point. I think he was just so far behind already sitting at 5. You're thinking about going up to maybe 7 or 8, and that just might be out of your wheelhouse, because now Goat Bounce was a thing. Now Goat Cobra
Yes, it is.
even worse. Okay, that feels
Woo.
even worse when you can get 2 Cobras to go off. That's 4, and you can't do anything about it. So I don't know. Maybe that might be the play. Keep them low as possible.
JDZ, how do you feel about that giant cobra?
I love it when I'm doing it. I don't love it when it's happening to me. I think that's the theme that I have for this entire set so far. Whenever I'm doing it, whenever I'm popping Fortis Sphere, slamming Bell, it feels great. Whenever my opponent's doing it, it feels miserable, because now they can go from GOAT, they can go from 14. It used to be like 16 and up. Now that's when you got to start worrying.
Yeah.
Now they can get you from 13 to 14 in one turn, and it feels horrible. Okay, I'm not
when you're on the other side of the table.
Oh
yeah.
We
don't have bouncing goats yet, but we did have a bouncing rabbit here with Gabe. He put down that fox and bouncing that rabbit back to hand for more cards.
Fox
Nothing exerted on Duckies, but
able to check down the Alice the Savvy Sailor, which is another card I thought was kind of falling out of favor a bit, but still making its way into Ducky's deck on the board. Not really doing much in the face of this Madam Mim Fox, but I still think the card is quite good, especially when you start warding everything and make everything have evasive. And what is that? We're getting deep in here. But Rebecca, do you know what that is? What is that card? I can't make that one out either. Let me see if I can enhance. I need some enhancements over here.
Right? Yeah.
That might be the hero. Yeah, that is the hero Hamada. That is a 3-cost hero.
The 3-cost. Yep.
So we could be potentially setting up for another shift next turn, as we are going to go ahead and slam into the Alice after it warded up the hero. So you will for sure get that bad boy to get shifted on. And if you can bring down the big baddie himself on a shift 5 next turn, you could be on your way.
What do you think about him questing there with the Alice? Do you think he should have... I mean, you want to get that lore.
I think he wanted the lore, but I think he mostly really wanted to put word on this thing to ensure that he can get that shift off, because he's going to 5 ink, and if you go for, say, Elsa the 5th Spirit, you tap it down, clap him up, and then that's it. So, but if you give him that ward, you can guarantee you can get the shift to go in, and this guy can cause some serious problems, as he's going to be questing for a tremendous amount. But you didn't even have it, so maybe you're right, Rebecca.
Nope.
I don't know, giving up that Alice so freely.
Another Alice, though.
Yeah. So Ducky didn't have it there, and so you gave up that Alice for relatively no value, as you're just going to go and play another Alice and pass back on over.
And Gabe over here is starting to build up a pretty wide board, which is, he knows that there's not really going to be a board wipe on Ducky's side. So as long as he can keep characters out on the board, keep questing or benefiting off of, like the Diablo grabbing a card when he's banished, he's sitting pretty good.
Okay. So now we're just going to continue to just pass it on over. So now it seems like you got a pretty strong spot. You could, in theory, just start running this race, as you got representing 4 lore on your side of the board. I think just sending it, punching down, getting up to 11, and putting the onus on your opponent to engage with you, I think is not the worst case scenario here if I'm Gabe the golfer.
Yeah. Looks like he's questing with Broom, probably going to banish when he plays. There's that Elsa's fifth spirit that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. just like you drew it up. So we'll go Elsa here. Elsa can get into the hero, it looks like. Someone's got to be exerted unless both of those characters are awarded, and we might have missed it. So we will have to exert that hero, and then you can kind of easily remove this hero and then quest with everyone else as we'll trade the Fox to do so. So this spot is looking really, really great for Gabe the golfer. Not going to lie.
Yeah, it's too bad that Ducky didn't have that hero shift last turn. And man, because like you said, that new hero so strong, but he didn't have it.
He didn't have it. So I think in that case, if you didn't have it, it's probably just best to just leave that Alice up, and maybe you can do a huge lore burst turn, or maybe you can draw into it at a later time or something. But I don't know. So now your back's against the wall. If you're Ducky, sitting on 4 ink, I think you're still hanging out at 4, I want to say.
Yeah, 4 ink. He has 3 lore, and Gabe's up already to 10. And a Jasmine. This is the 1-cost Jasmine from
I like this deck a lot.
sets ago.
I might try this
deck.
This is a
fun deck. She's already all the way back from set 2.
I love it. When you play this character, move up to 1 damage from chosen character of yours. Jasmine is one of my favorite, if not my favorite Disney character, Disney princess for sure. And it always breaks my heart that there's no true like Jasmine strategy that is like meta relevant. And maybe we can make this work. I don't know if this is the case.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it happen, as Jasmine is on the board and we do play the Ink Geyser.
There it is. That's so fun that we've seen Ink Geyser last turn, Ink Geyser, or last round, I should say, and Ink Geyser again here from Ducky. I know everyone was, when this card came, it kind of blew up in the Lorcana community like a geyser, and it's been fun seeing it at work this evening.
For sure, for sure. And honestly, when this card was first revealed, it caused such an uproar. It caused an Ink Geyser into the social space, and everyone was talking about it. But honestly, in this first week, granted, this is the very first weekend of Arcasia's Island, and I haven't really seen it make this tremendous impact like I thought it would when it first got revealed. So that's interesting how it works out.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed, especially last round, was it just gave the players lots of tools back into their hand, right? And so then you just have more options. And so it maybe is not as detrimental to the gameplay as people initially thought, but it's a fun card.
It is. I think it's an interesting card. I like the design now. Now I see how it actually works in application. I don't think it's as bad as we once thought it was. But maybe when people start working Ink Geyser into the Clarabelle, into the Bend to My Will, that might get a little obnoxious. Yeah, that might get a bit obnoxious later on. But I think we're still in the early infancy of this new set, and there's just I think we're only just really scratching the surface of what these cards can do. And I think it's going to take time for people to really get into the lab and start testing and making it go down. And I think it's gonna work. And here's the giant cobra, just like you drew it up, Rebecca. It's on the field, and now you got to start worrying because you bounce that thing a couple times, and the game just comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, and he did discarded a Zeus. Along came Zeus to gain that 2 lore, so he is running Zeus, which I'm not sure is going to be needed much in this matchup. So.
Yeah. Especially when a lot of his characters are having built-in ward, and with Alice giving ward and the Floodborn hero shifting, adding ward, I think Zeus may not get a lot of value. But I still think Zeus is a really, really strong card that you just got to be playing now, especially with the new Tamatoa. I think Zeus is even stronger. We're just going to pack it up here and probably go on into a nice timely game number 2. As Gabe, the golfer, gets to the
Gabe.
Dub. Nice.
Gabe was on the play that turn, that round. That game, excuse me, that turn, one of those things.
All of that, everything, and all of that, and more. I love it.
That.
Gabe was on the play, so Gabe that breaks the curse. So there will not be a true sweep. The Sunflowers will go home with something. Okay, now you got to complete the drill and go home with an actual victory to ensure that the sweep is not going to commence completely. But I thought it was a good match. It's a cool deck. I like the deck. I want to see whatever Ducky's doing. I want to see it kind of pop off.
I really do. He's got lots of characters there where ward matters, Floodborn shifting matters. And I don't think that we really saw what he made the deck to do. Like you said, it didn't pop off. And I really want to see it working for him.
100%. And now maybe just being on the draw always going to have a little bit of difficulty, especially when you're playing like an aggro based deck. So now you're going to be on a chance to be on the play, and maybe we'll get a chance to see it, because I love creativity. I love ingenuity. I like when people get out here and try stuff and see if it works, especially on this stage. You know, there are a lot of people who tune into the ICL, and people might become inspired, and they see, hey, Ducky tried this strategy and it worked out for them. Maybe I can try it or build upon it. And I think that's going to be critically important to any game, and especially in this metagame since it's so new. So, and that just comes from people being willing to go out and try something. So I'm always going to be a champion for that, because sometimes, as you know, Rebecca, it may not work. You try something and you just pie yourself in the face. Every now and then that happens, but
yep.
I think it'll be
this is
worth
it. It's going to be fun to see Ducky's deck hopefully really take off this time. I love seeing people's creative deck ideas. I think that I don't know about you, but like sometimes I really do get tired of seeing the same decks over and over again.
Yeah.
And so seeing some really creative deck builds out there, I think just adds some spice. It adds some spice to the Lorcana meta game out there.
For sure. I think that is I think that's everyone. And I don't want to sound negative, because people do make try to play the best possible deck, and they want to give themselves the best opportunity to have victory. And so you're going to play the best deck, and the best decks might be kind of, or the best discovered techniques might be kind of focused in one thing or one color pattern or something of that sort. So I don't want to discourage people from playing what they think is the best. So go and do it. But I fully agree with you. Like if you're going to watch a purple or a sapphire steel mirror for the 95th time, it just becomes repetitive. And I know that there are some creative ideas out there, and I know there's some creative players, but like I said, it just takes the courage to get out there and grip it and rip it sometimes. And a lot of people may not be willing to do that.
And this is a great forum, I think, to do that.
For sure.
So.
For sure.
All right. We are going, and Ducky
doesn't hit the
have
one
a drop.
No, that's not what we want to see, Rebecca. No,
not great.
Ugh. Feels bad.
That always feels bad. But little bird coming out to play on Gabe's side.
And Gabe absolutely does. So now let's see if you can get something going on turn number 2. You showed that cloud kicker last time as you put him into the inkwell, and then you're going to play someone on 2. It is going to be the Baymax. What does that guy do again? I need to start learning these cards again.
Yeah, he comes out exerted. He's a 3/2, and he quests for 2. So, of course, with that Diablo out there, no danger in him being taken out. So, yeah, I think Baymax is really great.
That's pretty nice. That's
early
nice
quester.
Spot. He can quest freely and trade into whatever. That's a pretty decent card, as he's going to be able to take out whatever likes to oppose him. As we're going to go ahead and send another one to the inkwell. We'll pay. It looks like we're grabbing 3, inking the tramp. So we got some tramp techniques.
The tramp.
Interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Cool.
That's a fun card. Yeah. What is happening?
That's awesome. As we will go ahead and get a nice little quest in with the sleepy Baymax and pass back on over. And if you try to, like I said, if you try to engage with this Smee, you're going to be in trubs, but you know we're going to turn 3, and they always have the crab. Let's see if the crab's going to come down now as we're inking.
Ooh, Cobra going into the inkwell.
And it's
it is.
It's never not crab. It's always the crab. As it's crab into Diablo. Tale as old as time. We'll get the draw, and then we'll go ahead and quest up the Smee for 2 before kicking it back on over to Ducky, who they got to deal with. This is probably the worst matchup that they wanted to face. I'm certain they wanted to get into some of that Sapphire Steel or some of that Ruby Sapphire in this matchup.
Yeah, I also am wondering how much Ducky not having that 1 drop really is affecting his ability to get ahead of Gabe here. This is, what did you just drop down?
That is Gazelle and a Morph. So now Alice has, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. I like that too. As you give the Alice ward or evasive to go along with the ward, and then you can ward the Morph and set up your shift line again. So let's see if we can get a powerful shift in on 5. You got Clarabelle you can go into. You have the big hero, which I know you got to be playing. You got the machine you can put him in. Something has got to happen here on this next turn, as it could get quite dynamic.
Yeah, I want to see that hero come out for sure. I want to see hero, or we have the Baymax universal shift maybe that could come out. We know that he has the kit shift, so lots of shift options here.
Yeah, this could be interesting. As now you got to think here long and hard. I think you might have to engage with this Alice, perhaps. It is exerted. Or no, it's evasive. I'm sorry. So you cannot even engage with the
You
Alice.
can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even challenge here
You can't do
because
anything.
it has ward, so you can't choose it for any of your actions, like a strength of raging fire or anything like that. You can't challenge because it's evasive because of that gazelle who came down. So it's leaving Gabe in a tough position here as far as taking care of what Ducky's putting out, but he's gonna maybe keep questing with the Smee there. Yep, and then bouncing back with a snake.
Nice. And then you can just put the Smee back in, but you have inked 2 of your giant cobras though. So a lot of your winning condition is kind of going down to the ink war early. Just hate it, see it. Sometimes you just draw your cards and disjointed orders. You just got to do what you got to do. But we'll go ahead and get a draw in now. Ducky has the opportunity to put down one of these shift characters. You got to shift somebody.
Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got.
One time for the fans.
I'm going for here. I'm asking for a here. I'm you know,
need a hero.
Hero. Yes. I'm holding out for a hero to be shifted on more.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's what we need.
That's pretty good. That's what we need. It's going to happen. Here we go. Come on. You got this. Come on, Ducky. You can do it. You can do it one time. Unless you just don't have the ink. How many cards are in hand? I can't tell.
I think he has 4 ink. So, I mean, as long as he has something inkable, he's just got to ink one, and then he could shift anything probably that he has in his deck if he has it in hand.
Let's hope. Here's the hoping. As we're
maybe he's just deciding what to ink. Maybe that's what we're waiting on. He's just not sure.
Let's see.
Ooh, tough
spot. Maybe they just don't have it too. Everything was set up perfect, but that's the punishment. Not the punishment, but that's the price you get for playing like these combination style decks where you got to depend on certain things to come together. Even with the very forgiving ultra phase that we have here in Lorcana, sometimes you're just not going to get all the pieces you need to get it done. But you do have one shift. There he is.
Universal shift onto the gazelle though.
Look at that. Upgrade the gazelle, and you can ward the you will ward the morph here again, just to protect the morph. Set yourself up for another top deck, perhaps. And do you have what are you going to do with this guy? Are you going to quest him?
Nah, he's going to leave morph. He's got to leave morph.
No, you can't quest the morph. You can't quest the morph.
Yeah,
you got to leave that. But are you going to quest this Baymax though?
With the Baymax. Oh, Baymax 5/5. I feel like you got a quest here.
Yeah, you could. You will. If you do that, you got more crab shenanigans that are coming your way. So if you're just afraid of the crabbings, and because you can crab into the Baymax, and then you can buff a guy, take out, but you clear the board. I don't know. Maybe the quest was right there. I'm not sure. This is a tight spot.
I'm not sure either. Yeah, he is ahead right now, 6-4, and so maybe he thinks, let's see what happens on Gabe's next turn. I don't want that. Like you said, that crab is looming there. And if Gabe has another fox or another snake in hand, then that would be goodbye to Baymax for sure.
But now, Rebecca, if he does get a chance to get this shift off now, and you have 2 Floodborn characters up with shift characters underneath, they all will get ward and invasive, and he can just quest, and that's 5 quests per turn. So that could be a very, very problematic situation for Gabe if that does resolve. So if you spend this turn challenging and not questing, you're going to probably lose that race if that shift character's in hand right now. But as you play a couple more characters to the field, so maybe not. Maybe the race could be on, as it looks like you will go on into the Alice, finish that Alice, and if you can go hero here, we might have a game.
Yeah, I think for Gabe, really, we know he has that Elsa. You also probably have maybe genies in here. I'm not sure if he runs that. And then, of course, there's a couple different actions that Gabe could have to deal with those evasive characters. But if he could get that hero shift off, that would be real great for a Ducky.
I think he would. Let's see it. Now, this is your chance. Your chance. Here we go. You got it. We're ready in the ink.
It must have just been that he didn't have anything to ink last turn for the hero, because the shift on Baymax is 4, and so now we do see him put something into ink. Well, now he's at 5 ink. He's exerting it all, and he's putting out. What you got, Ducky?
And it looked like, I think it was that big that was the shift Jasmine. The I forget her name. The shift Jasmine from set 6, I think, is what went down to the ink. It
was hero. Yeah. Now we got it.
Oh,
I was holding out for a hero. We got it.
We are full combo now, as they say. But are you able to win the race? I think you are in a winning position. And if they get into range to start bouncing snakes, you can even speed it up even further. So both of those characters are evasive and have ward. If that is in fact the hero, it is armor designer. So this could be demise here if you can't figure something out.
JDZ, Gabe has 2 turns to figure out something. Otherwise, Ducky is taking this with having Hero and Baymax both out. It's questing for 5 each turn.
Oof. So because you can go, you can't unless you play like, you have to 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll put you. Yeah, that might not be
8.
enough. So that's 7. Okay.
Yep.
That's 13 there. So now you have to figure out. Now you have to engage with this board though. You can clear some characters though here.
2. He could take care of 2 characters. Those Smees, of course, being the biggest threats. They're questing for 2 each. And that would save him for 1 more turn. Both Hero and Baymax would both survive. And then that would leave 1, 2, 3, 4 lore on Gabe's side of the board if he takes care of both Smees.
Yeah, if he can get to some type of, I don't know what removal they have, but I know Cloud Kicker really won't do too terribly much, as you will go ahead and take down one of those Smees, just like you said. We'll lose a Smee, and then we'll probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you they got quest for 3. That'll put you up to 14. That still won't be enough unless you can play another character, and then you're putting yourself in some serious goat bounce situation, which is just going to be an awful way to go down if you try to game it too much.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't take care of anything else, Gabe will be at 19 next turn. Like you said, he has both Goat and Rose in his deck, so that's 8 possible cards that would give him the win next turn without Gabe needing to do anything.
So that's probably the numbers that they're running through now. Like if you put a quest together here with the hero, go up to 14, and then put another character on the board, is that going to be good enough? I mean, I guess you got to roll the dice, because I think Goat Bounce is going to get you anyway. So you might as well at least go for it, as it looks like
he's taking out
the
Smee. Yep. So then that's just 4 lore here on Gabe's side of the board. So he will be able to go up to 17 next turn. And we have, what did he just bring out? Was that another sad Baymax?
Alice and a Morph. So he brought Alice Morph. So now how much is that? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on this. That's 8. No, so Alice is going to give another if Alice can get the quest off. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll be 9 if you can get everything to survive and to go. Morph is not evasive, so Elsa can take that out. Elsa can also take out one of the other bigger threats too, since Elsa is evasive. But this is tough. Tight spot.
Yeah, Baymax. If Gabe has Elsa, he could take out Baymax, because both Baymax and Hero have that 3 damage on them from taking out the Smees.
And there is the Elsa. Look at that.
Hey, Queen coming down. And what are we gonna do here? Oh, interesting. Taking care of the Morph.
Okay. Exerting the Morph, taking care of the Morph. And is that enough? Like, and he just quest everyone.
7. So he has 7. Ducky has 7 lore on the board right now.
Now, is there any reach? Do they have reach in this deck? Do they have a way to gain lore in the deck that I can't think of in this color? Go-Go. Oh man, Go-Go is a thing.
Go-Go. If he has Go-Go. Let's see here. So Elsa has 2 damage on her. That would be, if he has a Go-Go.
Go-Go is a thing that does exist, and this deck seems like it can serve a Go-Go very well. So let's see if it's even in the deck before I get my hopes up. And I'm looking at the build, and Rebecca, I'm feeling sad because I don't think there's a Go-Go. I don't think there's no Go-Go in the situation here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, he can get to 7 or get to
19. Spam Go-Go heal. Oh, and that's just going to be a GG right there. Well played. At least we got a chance to see what the deck was trying to do there. as this game is going to come to a screeching halt. Go just for good measure.
Oh, and go just for good measure. Why not? Gotta love a win on a goat.
For sure. Oh, that was still a good match, though. That was a good match. That was a good match. I like that deck a lot. Okay.
That was tons of fun. Are we?
And it looks
okay.
like
Gonna press some buttons.
Let's do it.
And go on over.
I'm gonna mute my
about the Iago, but as an inkable tech card, a 4/6 evasive for 4 is not too shabby.
Okay. Okay. Greetings,
Great
Ducky.
games, everyone.
Greetings.
Yeah.
Hey, well played. I like that match a lot. I enjoy both of those decks, but I'm gonna let Rebecca do it because every time I do this, I feel like I take all the questions before the other person can do it. So Rebecca's gonna be in here, and I know she's got some great questions. I got some things I want to ask you guys too, but.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask the Amethyst Steel deck. I know that that's a deck that I've been excited to see with this new set. So, but there's a lot of different builds out there. I think the Amethyst Steel could go. So, what was your thoughts there with this particular Amethyst Steel build?
So my thoughts is I don't want to play Doc decks because they have such a hard time singing Zeus, and I know like before I even put together the deck, I'm playing Purple Steel because it can play 4 Zeus to deal with Kamatoas and Sharks as well as anything else. And the deck has also never felt better into Amber Steel because you can just curve up with Heat and then Gantu, which I have 3 of, and then Elsa, and just destroy all of their singers without them having a chance.
Nice.
So and then I've tested with my team against blue-green. You notice we've been playing a lot of blue-green, and this Iago is actually for that matchup. I didn't see it, but because there's not the blue-green's evasives get so huge, like the only way you can do is with something like Iago.
That's a good tech. That's something we totally missed out. We did not see that Iago come down. We were wondering as we were observing the game, like, okay, he's got these evasive questers. He's going to start this race, and what answers would you have? You had the answers already teched in there already. I like the deck a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was really neat. Just talk about real quick. What do you think Amethyst Steel fits in this Sapphire world that we're living in? How do you feel about its position right now?
I need to do more testing. I haven't got to play much since I've made some changes to it and added the Gantus in. I imagine it's probably very play draw, like extreme. Like I think it's very hard to win going. I would imagine it's hard to win going second. But I think you do have a chance going first.
Nice. Well, coming out and representing your organization well, not avoiding the sweep. I'm sure that is something that worked out great. Getting the dub, playing against Ducky, who also dipped into the spice jar. Rebecca and I were having a good time watching this deck.
So much spice.
Nothing against you, Gabe, but we were definitely hoping Ducky's deck could pop off so we can see a little bit more of what they were trying to cook. So, Ducky, you didn't get the dub, but just talk about that deck, man. Talk about what made you bring this blue-green deck, this really Floodborn hero aggressive deck. We wanted to see a little bit more of it pop off. So can you talk about that deck really quick?
So I was really sad because my deck didn't perform. I just bricked both games and I died. But what I was trying to do was I was trying to shift, just trying to create like the shift hero line and just run people over with because people don't really have a lot of pressure in this meta. So being able to just quest in the air that's evasive, that puts a lot of pressure down before like B prep gets down is quite nice. And then being able to ink scout and being able to stop them for a turn before they can actually recover and B prep you. There's just very little that decks can do to sort of beat that. Nobody's playing evasive creatures except for apparently Gabe at attack. But actually, I had an out to Iago, which is Gazelle. I could actually target it with a Gazelle and pop the Iago so you can't kill my guys.
No, it's an action.
It's action, yeah, actions only.
It's an action.
Actions only. Yeah, you can't do it with the player glimmer, like a character ability.
Yeah, reading is really difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah. But in general, if you pressure people relatively early on, you play Curse Merfolk and you just like quest for a whole bunch. If you're ahead on lore and you just like steamroll people with hero, then it's very hard for them to be able to stop you from winning the game from that point
Absolutely.
I love that
And-
phrase of questing in the air. Like, and I could tell that that's what your deck really wanted to do. And how did you feel like not having, you were on the draw in game 1, but you were on the play game 2 and no 1-drop?
I had a 1-drop. I purposely aimed for 1-drop, just to try and not run into the issue of drawing too many unequables. But I still drew too many unequables. I drew like Baymax into Alice, and I was like, I needed to hit another one, and I hit another unequal. I was like, how?
It happens.
All
I'm
been
sure.
there. We've all been there.
Yeah. If you played this game for more than a day, I'm certain that you've been there. But I really enjoyed this deck. It's definitely something that I want to try. I think Ward and Evasive combined together just seems obnoxious and still pretty cool. Pair that with Ink Geyser, and what are we really even talking about? I think it's a good strategy, and I'm glad you brought it. And I hope you continue to develop that, and hope people build that, because that could be the anti-meta busting threat that we've all been looking for. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Rebecca, what do you think about this match? What do you think about these players?
Oh, it was fantastic. I was glad to see Sunflower Illumineers coming back in round 3 to take that win. 2 super fun decks, and yeah, great job playing to both of you.
Absolutely. I had a blast watching. I just want to thank both of you guys for coming out and sharing some of your expertise and playing in the ICL and supporting ICL. We do appreciate it. But Gabe, before we cut it out of here, where can we find you? Can you just give some shout outs and talk about yourself and your squad?
I personally don't really have any socials or anything, but I'll be at as many DLCs next year as I can. But our captain Ken, who got us all together, is active and he streams quite a bit from his shop in Wichita.
Nice.
He's
the Shadow Realm?
Hamilton and Ken. No. I was laughing so much seeing the comments there. That was hilarious.
That's pretty good.
It's like Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, right?
Right. Yes.
I thought it was a tornado. It's hanging out in the tornado shelter, playing some Lorcana. I love it. Love to see it. I like it. Okay. What about you, Ducky? Any shout outs you want to give before we sign this thing off and wrap it on up?
Yeah, shout out to Luxury Gaming, which is the team that I'm on. I don't have socials as well too, but just like Lorcana community has been really awesome just in general, and thanks for putting this on. Like shout out to you guys.
Okay, thanks so much for participation, and we do appreciate it. And shout out to Sunflower Illumineers, and shout out to Luxury Gaming for coming out and getting the dub on the first ever Monday night ICL.
Yes.
It's been a blast.
And
making Mondays.
And don't go anywhere. Right? Don't go anywhere, JDZ. Don't go anywhere, audience. Those of you at home, wherever you are, because we have an after show, post show tonight.
Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked. Let's go. I love it.
We've got some,
I love it. I love it.
I mean, who does it? We had pre-show today, and we're gonna have post-show. There's all kinds of fun stuff happening in our ICL this evening.
On a Monday night. Well, Gabe, Ducky, thank you guys for dropping by. We really appreciate it, man. You guys can go and celebrate with your respective organizations. And next round will be coming, and I hope to see you both back on the playing arena, getting it in again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I gotta give a huge shout out to the judges. Unmute myself. Here we go. How's this? How's that? I'm ranting over here. Muted. Was I muted the whole time? Okay. Luke's forget everything I just said about Luke. Okay, he's done. Okay, he's never going to work in this town. No, I'm kidding. But seriously,
they couldn't hear you anyways.
Okay.
So like they couldn't hear you compliment me. You started complimenting me, and I was like, no. No, we're not having that. And so, like, the show's technically over, but now we're going into the after show. I
Okay.
don't have a cool, like, logo on the back. You're more than welcome to stay with us, JDZ. I tried to get a hold of you earlier to be like, hey, we're doing this, but you were
Okay.
streaming. You were doing your big boy job. So
I gotta get my
Big
chops
boy
up too.
job.
I gotta try. I gotta be my streamer, man. I gotta work too, man. I was getting cooked playing Oswald. It wasn't going great. But yeah, I'll hang out for the after show for a little while. I will kick it here.
I believe that Katie should be here soon. Breezy is here. I just got
It's gonna be a whole party up in here.
Yeah, I'll kick it. I'll kick it here for a little while if I can. Are we just gonna go right into it? Or is there gonna be like some kind of start stop situation?
Oh, we're just right in on it.
Oh, we're in. So we're already in the night show right now.
Yeah.
Should I unbutton the top button, or should I take a hat off, or pull my glasses off, or what? Like,
This is not Lorcana After Dark. That's another show.
I feel like there's got to be a change of something. I can't just go from one show to the next without some type of transition. I see Breezy here. Breezy's here. Can you hear me, Breezy?
I can't hear Breezy though.
I can't hear Breezy either. I can see him.
Try disconnecting and
Hey.
reconnecting. Oh,
there it is.
There we go. There we go.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Night though. What a night.
There he is.
Monday. Going up on a Monday. I'm with it, man. And it's so much.
What do you think of those matches?
I'm excited for Emerald Sapphire, but it got cooked. It ran into the matchup that wasn't supposed
to. Yeah.
A matchup that should not have been.
Because like Emerald Sapphire just hopes it runs into Ruby Sapphire and Steel Sapphire and just dominate. And it just didn't happen because it ran into Amethyst Steel and Ruby Amethyst.
The one deck that can engage with warded evasive characters, dude. Go figure. Like, what are the chances? Like low, right?
Luxury one.
Yeah, look, and he kind of said he bricked a bit there too. I wanted that deck to pop off. I love seeing off meta. I love seeing things that aren't the standard do well and have success.
Yeah.
That's just where I am. I don't know. Maybe I'm an underdog. Root for an
Thoughts
underdog kind of thing.
on Ink Geyser? We saw it pop off 3 times, but it didn't work. Are we still riding that Ink Geyser's gonna break the game wave? Because it has potential.
Game breaking. Well, I'll let you take this one, Rebecca. I'll let you take that. Let me think about this for a second.
No, I don't. Game breaking, absolutely not. I think it's a fun card. I don't think that it is nearly as bad as everyone first thought it would be. I think it doesn't seem like it's not an insurmountable obstacle to come over,
Right.
to surpass, especially in that Ruby Amethyst deck. I mean, as a Ruby Amethyst player, it's like, you want to give me all my cards back? Great. I'll take all these answers back for sure. And sure, maybe it did keep him from getting up to that 7 ink spot so he could be prepared or whatnot. But I just don't think that it is going to stop your opponent in their tracks. It maybe will slow them down, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, JDZ?
I'm honestly, I'm thinking back on it, and I want to kind of go back and back read a lot of the posts from Discords and on Facebook and on Instagram and some of the things, because when it got revealed, this thing was hyperbolic, catatonic, next level. Yeah. The game is over. I'm about to quit. I'm about to sell my cards. I can't believe it. I can't believe they did this. I'm gone. I hate it here. And I was like, wow, man, people are really feeling strongly about it. And then they dropped Bell, which is significantly more impactful than Ink Geyser, I think. And I don't think Ink Geyser is going to do anything. I think the dual color really slowed it down. Had it been a pure green, you'd be cooked. I think we'd be cooked. If it had been pure green, if it's pure blue, I think we're still probably cooked. But the fact that it's blue and green really slows it down a bit. Because you can if you compare that with discard stuff, Ink Geyser, and then start Prince Johnning and hypnotizing and all that, I guess you still could, in theory. That could work. I don't know. Yeah,
I do think if you could get it off paired with Bend to My Will, where you're putting a bunch of cards back into their hand, maybe, but then you got to get rid of them. I think that's the only way that I could see it really being an effective tool against your opponent.
Yeah, but overall, probably one of the most overrated cards ever. I would say ever in the history
People
of
were
the game.
quitting the game because of that card.
Yeah.
I know.
It was a wild time when so seeing it kind of not do what we
like scared of doing. It was kind of nice. I will say it's like, okay, yeah, thanks for giving all my cards back that I can just re-ink if I need to.
Right.
And then, you know, in that matchup, like we saw the ladies in red really cook there. The hero being able to just like, okay, Lady Tremaine, the hero, ward and evasive is not a problem to me.
Yeah.
Was just like such a cool little move that really makes you think Ruby Amethyst just still got it, maybe, you know.
Maybe. And
all reliable ain't done yet.
And Breezy, we did talk about this too. Like, we think like, oh, Ruby Am is done, it's cooked. They got no card, they got literally 0 cards. Sell your property, get it out of here. Ruby Am's cooked. And then the meta is going to slow down. It's going to solve itself, and then Ruby Am's going to be the best deck again, playing set 4 cards. There you go. There it is.
They played no set 7 cards.
Not even set 5 cards.
None.
Just
Yeah, I think there were 2 cards actually from set 6 that it had. It had Diablo and it had something else. I forget. And that was it. No set 7 cards in the deck.
Don't need
you
it.
know, because why? Because you don't.
Why?
Yeah, because why?
You don't need it. You don't need it. I love it. I
Did
love
not
it.
expect that to win, to be honest with you. Like,
And
it
works out.
Didn't see it coming. But
Nobody
so-
ever does.
That's true. It's just a
To
repetition.
start every new set. That's how it goes. Ah, finally, Ruby Am is gone. It's dead.
The
It's
deck
gone.
is over. See
Nope.
ya.
Yeah.
And nope, it's still gonna win games. I mean, the animal
The cat
package is
came
still-
back the very next day.
And then it's gonna be like the world's tournament is gonna come in at some point, and it's gonna be straight up Flynn, Sisu, Goat, Bounce,
We're back.
freaking that's it.
Flynn is
Game
gone,
over.
but that's it. Like
Flynn is gone.
super
And
gone.
No, Flynn's gonna work
Yeah.
himself back. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna everything's gonna circle the drain, and it's
They're
gonna be a
call
spot
Illumineer
where
or
Flynn
something.
fits
They
back
just-
in, and we got more Flynn again, and he's gonna be Flynning and doing his thing.
Flanagan.
Flynn.
We're gonna Flanagan.
The Flynn again.
Rebecca's cracking me up, dude. Got the
The
Flynn
Amethyst Steel deck was also really fun, though.
Yeah, that was
that
nice.
third
Yeah.
round. I think that's if I want to play Ruby Amethyst, but if I'm not playing Ruby Amethyst, I will play Amethyst Steel. I think I just have to find the right build. That was a really fun one that he had.
Yeah, I might. That's one benefit about being on the ICL. We get access to everyone's decks, and we could just steal them. We could just
Yeah.
steal them. Rebecca, we
great.
could just
Tell them.
Oh, are we
tell
live?
them.
We can just steal them, dude. There it is. I've
It's
stolen
good decks. I
I've
mean,
stolen so much ICL property. I'm getting IP copyright infringed every day. Because I'm like, dude, I can't sit here and I can't figure it out. I know all these cards I want to play. They're all seem good.
people already
Right?
built it. It's fine.
Yeah,
don't
just-
don't
Yeah.
waste
Yeah, like,
fair
you just
power. It's
take
fine.
it. Oh,
And like, listen, like there's 2 different skills, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
deck building itself is one skill, and then you have playing it, and that's another skill. And some of us, me, I'm not a deck builder, right? Tim, I am not a deck builder, but I can learn a deck and I can learn how to play it well.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Some people are just cursed. I don't have either. You know what I'm saying? I can't deck build. I can deck build a little bit, but I can deck build in a way that is just like, okay, this is bad. And it's still, playable.
you know what deck I am excited to build though? I don't know about anyone else here, but I am excited to build a puppy deck.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yes.
It's happening. Bring it to the ICL.
Yeah.
Load it
Dogs
in.
are out.
I want to see a puppy deck here at the ICL. Which team is going to do it? Which team
Someone's
is
gotta
bringing
do
the
it.
puppies?
I just don't. I can't find a good solid
The
list.
dog treats are great.
Dog treat. Do you have
Yeah,
a list?
cannon crunchies. I have a list.
The doggo treats
a
go
list.
crazy.
I might have to steal it. I know. Why Breeze? You got a list? You got a puppy list? Rebecca's got one.
Yeah, what are you playing?
What do you
they're,
got?
They're
What-
out
what's-
there.
what's-
I stole one. I'm not gonna lie. But I played it, but it does the things that it needs to, which is get your dogs out and,
Get those dogs out.
and then feed them dog treats and win the game. It does that.
Are you playing?
Yes.
How many copies of 99 Puppies? Let me see if you got a real dog list, dude. How many copies of 99 Puppies are you
It
holding on
ran
to?
like it ran a good chunk. It ran like it's. I want to
Are
say
you
like,
max 99 Puppies? That can't be the play.
No, you don't want to do
Nine
that.
max.
Don't be silly now. But the thing is, there's a lot of other puppies. Like the other puppies are really solid.
Yeah.
They're
And
not-
I got a
they're
gripe
not
with I actually have a gripe with the
Rebecca
card
was
the
like,
card
what
game.
was that?
I have a gripe about that actually. My wife actually brought this to my attention because we're going through like the bulk as we're sorting bulk,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, "Oh, I want to make a puppy deck." And I'm like, "I do too. Let's make a puppy deck." And she's like, "We're looking at the cards, and like all the cards that are dogs are not also puppies, which is ridiculous. Like, whose idea was
That
that?
is true.
That is so stupid. Like, Bolt should
know.
1000% be a puppy. He's a literal puppy on the thing. Why is Bolt
None
not a
of
puppy?
the Lady and the Tramp cards are puppies.
Insane. Like, whose idea was that?
Yeah.
They should clearly
I
be
don't know.
puppies.
They should all be
Clearly.
Puppies. They should all be puppies. I don't.
But you know what's funny is even Pongo and Perdita from 101 Dalmatians are also not puppies.
Insane.
'Cause I guess
Like,
they're
all
adult
dogs are
dogs.
puppies.
So
It doesn't matter.
Oh, right? All dogs are puppies.
I
They
can
all
give
go to
you-
heaven and they're all
Yeah.
puppies.
Exactly.
I can give you that. Okay, if you say if you're an adult dog, you're no longer a puppy, I can respect that. But if you're an actual legitimate puppy, then you just put it on there. I'm sure it will cause some serious chaos and calamity. Someone, freaking Zach Bibbins or something's going to cook you with like the most obnoxious puppy deck you've ever seen because some unique combination was found because all these dogs are now puppies. I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth it. Let's
Someone in chat is saying though that puppies unironically almost good, but first they need to make brooms good. And I
Okay.
agree.
Let's go.
We
They
do
can
need
both be
brooms to be
good.
good.
They're in
They
complete
can both be
different
good. Yes.
Like next
both,
step they can
both
focus on because
good.
like Amethyst Steel can get their brooms, and then Amber Sapphire can get the puppies at the same time, and we'll all be excited. And it'll make it'll make sealed and draft fun as well if you have that synergy within the sets. So it won't be that bad. Give us both. We want more synergies that do silly
Mhm.
little things.
I agree.
Yeah.
The fact that there wasn't a dual ink Amethyst Steel one cost broom that does something cool.
We're gonna get it. It's okay. We're gonna get
Tell
it.
me,
Absolutely.
yes.
Disappointment. Okay.
This set we got King Cobra. We saw we did. We
Okay,
should be
that's a
happy
start.
for that. Like it's we saw
That's
what it can
snake.
do this tonight. Actually,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
We
discard,
did.
the discard game 2 is incredible. And then y'all were talking about how you can bounce it to get more of that. Feels incredible. Just such an incredible card. And I think it was JDZ that said it might break the meta in half, and it just might because it goes so
Hard.
fast.
That might be the deck I start playing. That might be the deck I try to play because I tried to jump in with my Sapphire Overlords. I got a blue steel background. I've been playing blue steel for a while, and I tried to jump in. I played some Oswald tonight, and I'm like, listen, it was literal torture. Okay, I don't know how people do it. It was actual waterboarding myself for playing this game. I can't do it. I'm not him. I'm not built like
Well,
that.
you
I
hit
need
some
something.
good Oswald.
I can't. I mean, if you're hitting dimes, it's great, but when you're missing and you're getting clapped, it feels miserable. The mirror
Real
just is
bad.
no good. I'd rather just lose in 20 minutes than possibly win in an hour and a half. There it is. Okay.
Fair. That's
There it
fair.
Get into Amethyst Steel lifestyle. We can.
I'm joining.
we can get our hands emptied out, dock
Mhm.
back to our hand, dock it up to refill, and just win games. Easy. They can't
My
rank if they have to
son-
deal with you.
That's true. My son is sticking with, he was playing this all last set,
Mhm.
and I hate to say it, but he is sticking with Ruby Sapphire,
Oof.
that child. And so that's what I have to play every day in my house against my son is that Ruby Sapphire. And it's rough right now with the new cards. That deck
Rebecca,
is...
you make some good skits, but I think that will be a really funny skit. If you could work that in, I'll help you write it. That could be so funny. It's kind of like the parent goes into their kid's room, and like sometime in the 80s they find like the joint or something. you find like the
Oh my
Ruby
gosh.
Sapphire deck.
Oh my gosh.
You should do it. I think it's so good.
Actually hilarious.
You find like the Ruby Sapphire deck.
What is this?
What is this? You're no son of mine. What is this?
Oh my
I can't
word,
believe it. My own
yes.
son. I'm so embarrassed. Oh my goodness.
That is
Oh,
hilarious.
that'd be so good. That'd be so good. I can't believe it in my house. I
In my
raised you better
house,
than this. I
under
can't
this
believe
roof.
under this roof. No son of mine is gonna be playing this thing.
Taught you values.
We taught you better than this.
Good.
The
Aaron,
worst,
are you-
though,
are you seeing
and
this?
we
didn't see any today,
we-
though.
No, we didn't. But what we did see, and what makes the Ruby Sapphire deck so terrifying, is that dang Sapphire Coil.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh.
Sapphire Coil, and we saw that put in some work in some of the games tonight. That card be wild.
No,
That
yeah.
card is wild.
Now that one we gave Geyser some hype. That one got some hype, but I think it still has the potential to live up to that crazy hype that it got.
It already
That card is
It
crazy.
is.
That card
If it was -1 strength, I think it would be better. But the -2 strength is
bananas.
wild.
And it's not once per turn like most like those
No,
like
it's
No,
not
it's
once
not.
per turn.
It's literally not.
It's just
It's-
like anytime, whenever you want.
To anyone. Whose idea was that? I would love to
Whose
sit down
idea?
with a team
Who?
I would love to sit down with the crew, the team who said let's figure this out, and like just be a part of that
Steve,
meeting and just watch
yeah.
them high five on the way out after they did that. Like, yeah, we really got something done here today, guys. We got steel coil. It's trash. Okay, yeah, we got amber coil, trash. Oh, great. Amethyst coil. Man, we're really knocking them out of the park.
For someone whose name means
Yeah,
Lorcana,
it's
I love
just, I don't know.
Habibi can be
Sapphire
quite
Coil.
aggressive.
It's
Oh, the
too
Candio's in the build.
much.
Oh, the Candio's there now. I see the Candio. The Candio.
Oh, that's true.
You got to get out there and fix this. You got to get in there, walk into that room, and be like, look, dudes, I'm in charge now. Who's in charge here? Not anymore. You're not. I am in charge. Let's clean this up because they really put a
They
doozy on
printed
it.
out the coil, and they were like, "Wait," and then they hired him at the same. Like they're just like, "Wait, we gotta fix this."
Like, hold on.
Well, wait, don't send that card yet. And it's just like it's too late. And they're like, "How do we fix this?" And then they just needed help. And now hold on. We made a mistake. Once returned, it's not. Once returned, what?
It was probably like that. Maybe you're right, Breezy. It was probably like one of those situations. Like, hey guys, what if we made a card? Okay, here it is, guys. Here it is, crew. All right. So when you ink. Oh, this is so stupid. When you ink,
This is so stupid.
Okay, here it is.
It's crazy.
Hey, when you ink, you get to lose one streak. No, 2 streaks.
No.
And guess what else? It's not once returned, dude. That's crazy. Hey,
and it's inkable.
Hey, just send it in.
And it's inkable.
Hey, send it in. If they catch it, they'll catch it. It's a joke.
Dude, it's fine. It's common.
It's a legend.
No, it's a comment.
It's a comment. Send it in. Oh, they printed it. Oh my god, what the
They got away with
Dude,
that.
coil is so fine. You're all just a bunch of doomers. You're just a bunch of doomers.
Yeah, but like
coil's
Are we,
not the
though?
issue.
we gotta doomer a little bit. It makes decent content.
It
and
does.
it's
It
fair.
does.
It's like we can't just not be a little upset about things. Okay.
I guess Luke hasn't really been playing a lot of Sapphire cards. He's gonna have to start playing now. And when you start seeing the things that happen when you're the Sapphire guy, like getting your big Tamatoa hit with little Sisu is like something that will just rock you to your core. That doesn't feel good at all. Like
And
that's
those-
a 0%
That's
thing.
fine. They get to know what it feels like to have all their characters Sisu'd. I've been living that nightmare for 3 or 4 sets. So, like, let them have their stuff get hit too.
I mean, but an 8-cost guy getting hit with a little Sisu, and it's not like one of those things where you gotta like, oh, dude, I'm gonna tap a billion ink, do this super no-hand cartwheel, backflip, and then it happens. No, it's literally just doing stuff you were already gonna do anyway, and then it's just gonna get rid of your best guy with just a 3-cost little guy. That doesn't make any sense.
I like that we're saying all of this, but tonight only one Sapphire deck won, and it was just a mirror, so they had to win.
It was the mirror. Yeah. Yeah.
So
that
like
is true.
all that doom talk,
True.
and
Right.
results say
Dude,
one, and they had to, and they didn't play Sapphire.
honestly,
But-
Ruby Sapphire might be in trubs, man. I think it's the Sapphire Steel is in the Oswald stuff and the dime and the big crap. They're just doing it way better. So I think that might be. I think
Just
Ruby Sapphire might be the
piling
anti-meta deck now. I don't know.
They're,
you got
they're
this.
just piling up items in the corner. Just like don't mind it. You can't
Ruby
really interact
Sapphire.
with them.
Yeah, Ruby
And-
Sapphire.
They need like a whole nother like playmat just for their items. Like over
Just
there.
an item
Wonder-
bag.
Do you think though, here's a question for both of you. Do you think we will see people like in an amethyst steel deck or other steel decks, find them, I flatten them, come into
100%.
the game?
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes.
Mhm.
I say yes. I think it's
Good.
just something. It's just a
Fine.
matter of time. I think it's inkable. I think it's singable.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
Green
it's
Steel can
inkable,
play it
Right.
right
I
away.
play Tamatoa. You play I find in my Platinum. I quest with my Tamatoa. I put Diamond to play. I gain another 2 lore. I pass the turn.
Hey,
Uh,
I mean, it could, I mean,
Yeah, but, like,
maybe not in that exact
They have like
scenario.
20 items. Okay, we gotta deal with.
Maybe
we gotta deal
maybe
with,
it's
like
a turn when they
get
got
2 back. Okay, but
maybe
they
it's-
got
yeah.
20.
when
I'm
they
sad.
got a billion set up on you and they got the Tamatoa and they just need to slap the dime the next turn or something, or they got the dime out and they're about to put the Tamatoa down and you could just get rid of all that stuff.
What is-
Maybe it might be
what
good.
is
I don't
the
know.
new
It's inkable,
Tama-
so it's like if that comes to a point where there's only 1 or 2 items, then you can just like ink it and move on with your life too. It's
Mhm.
not the end of the world if it's useless in that time. So
I'm
like,
about-
Sure.
it's fine. You can run
Amber
it.
Steel,
It's
Amber Steel
fine.
can play it. If Amber Steel can definitely fight.
Abibi, are you okay? Is Amber Steel doing good? Like I haven't checked up on you in a bit. Like, but like How is the Amber Steel lifestyle going? Because like I'm assuming there's a lot of
The Amber Steel lifestyle.
Amber Steel is back. I think Amber Steel is fine, dude.
Is
I
it
think
though?
You think so?
they play. Okay, they got to
How
play
did,
Bianca. I think they got to play
how did-
Bianca.
How did the Wochuk versus Otto match up this morning?
It ended
Not
it
great
ended 7-7.
Hmm.
7-7.
7-7. Yeah, that's what I'm
Really?
saying.
It was like 6-3 when I last watched.
It
What happened?
ended 7-7. Otto had to leave or something, so they couldn't finish it. But it ended 7-7. So that's a 50-50 ball. You take
6-3
that.
though.
Bianca was going nuts, dude. Whole new world. It's still a thing. It's still good. I think those cards are still. It was 8-7. Oh my bad.
Where's your coil now?
I'll have to go. Dang, I think Bianca. Think about Habibi. Are you playing Bianca? Are you playing Bianca, Luke? Are you still playing Amber Steel? What are you playing set 7, Luke?
He's got the dogs.
Are you playing dogs?
The
You're not playing
dogs.
puppies.
No, he's playing the ladies.
I bought crabs. I bought Scrooges. Some.
Oh, you're
Scrooge.
embracing the Overlord. Okay.
Some
I
rude
thought-
person
Wait, the
canceled my
Oswald?
order when it doubled in price, but I also bought ladies. I bought like $500 worth of cards.
You
So
gave us a
I'm
deck
looking at
list.
things.
You better
Okay.
be playing that deck list.
What
'cause
are-
it's fun.
What are you looking at though, Luke? Give us the tea and give us the goo here at the after show special.
Goo.
Give us the
goo.
absolute sauce one time.
I mean,
Leak.
I'm obviously gonna play Zan's list at first,
Okay.
because it's it's
Oswald,
the
yeah.
boogeyman, so we gotta
Standard.
play
Yeah.
as it to see if it's the truth. Figure out if I should have sold my foil Oswalds for 50 each or not. Like regulars already dropped down to 20, so it's like hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those the D23 ones.
You had those?
I did watch Wochuk's match for like a few hours, and Bianca did impress. The deck doesn't seem terrible. I think it can be geared to beat different metas. The problem is when the meta shakes up too much, when it's too open. Doing that can hurt, right? It's like, oh yeah, I geared for this and I paired up against like anti-steal hyper aggro 3 rounds in a row, and because I didn't have the correct card, I get hit, like that
Right.
kind of thing can happen. But people like that, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember who tweeted about it. I think it might have been DKP, where I think it was. He basically said that higher competitive players really like closed metas, like 2 or 3 decks.
Yeah.
Because it's way easier to judge that, and the gameplay is a lot better, but it's a lot better for the more average player to have a big open meta, because then it's like you can just like sideline someone because they're not prepped for it.
I agree with that. I mean, me personally, as a not super high top level player, I just like to see some variety, man. I just like to see different decks.
yeah.
When I got to sit down and play against blue steel, red, blue steel, red, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm done, dude. I don't want to sit here and do this over and over and over again. That's just me, though. So I like a little bit of variety, and hopefully someone can figure something out. It's still very, very new on, and I think we can get this thing going. Hopefully, if it happens, but I'll see.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Amber Emerald, the puppies that Luke was talking about in the day 1 video, kind of nice.
Yeah.
I get to turn my little guy sideways and win the game super fast. It's been
Right?
interesting.
Yeah.
It's been a really solid testing with that. Like it's just it does everything I want to do well, which is go fast and get out of the game very quickly.
Is that what you're playing in this set, Breezy? Are you going to be on the Emerald
train.
or Tramp?
I think
Tramp
so.
dish?
I mean, either that or Amethyst Steel. Honestly, like those 2 decks are the decks I built on day 1 because I just thought they fit my brain. And so far, testing both, it fits what I like. And when you get your curve perfectly, you're solid. You're out to 20 so fast. They can't do anything. Like the amount of pressure you get to put is really, really hard, and they have to answer. If not, the game's over. So you just constantly try to get that pressure in, which I really enjoyed, like having to do that game style. And it's been solid. And King Cobra is one of the wow, changes your life.
So good.
Changes
and
your
it does
life.
feel like that early pressure, like being able to go real fast, real quick.
Yeah,
is what is gonna like save us in the sea of sapphire, right?
Yeah.
And you just need a couple people who are dedicated to making the aggro thing go. Because if everyone switches to the control thing, then that meta is going to be much more difficult for the average player to crack into. Whereas if you have this contingent of players who are dedicated to playing these aggressive decks, I know on the local level there are a lot of people playing aggressive decks. Then I think that could keep them honest and force them to include certain cards in their decks to make them less good against the mirrors and whatnot. And that could be that could be a good thing. I think it could be healthy.
Getting Chernobog on turn 4 feels incredible. Just have like so many little guys, and you're just like, hey, by the way, this is a free body now. Thanks. Or like the 7-cost tramp that you just can't really deal with it. It just depends on what matchup you're in. It's been really solid. I do recommend. I highly recommend checking it. And if you want to like have that reach, you got Go-Go. Go-Go feels great too. It's just, there's a lot of tools that get you that 20 fast, and I don't know. I do appreciate aggro quite a bit, so it's just in a sea of Sapphire, there's hope. I like to believe
there is hope.
That's hope. And even like I said, even if you do lose or if you don't win or whatever, at least your game's going to be over relatively quick. And there's value there too. There's value there.
Yes, right. You either win fast or you lose fast.
There is
get your drink, cry in the bathroom, whatever gets you the round time,
and be done and get out of it. In and out, in and out. I love it. I absolutely love it, man. I just can't wait. Hopefully, I haven't heard anything about any new events or anything happening, like any major events, any new DLCs, a new schedule, worlds, or something. Have you guys, what do you guys think
ICL,
about?
that's all you need.
We got ICL.
ICL.
3 times
LCCC, ICL.
We'll have set championships will be coming in April, right?
Okay.
So that's the next thing that people are looking forward to, I guess, right now. But yeah, I really hope, like, in the absence of having information about Worlds and the next season of DLCs, that we see more stores and local communities hosting bigger events, like the CCS, like the Southside Gaming, like hopefully like more communities will be stepping up to fill that void for like some bigger tournaments and stuff. So I think hopefully we'll see more of that.
Oh, that'd be so nice. But if there's only one, Southside Gaming. There's only one CCS, and it just takes a lot of passion too, because I'm not sure what the financial is, but I don't know what their overhead is or how that whole thing works. But I'm sure they're not making billions and millions of dollars. It's definitely a for the community, passion first kind of thing, just to get people engaged with the game and grow the community and stuff like that. So it takes a very rare setup with someone who has the means, capability, and resources to do something like that. So I just got to find a way to keep championing those individuals, encouraging those people to do that, because I would love to have something like that in my area, but I'm just so far away. I'm way up here in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if I could ever go to Florida to play.
What area are you, JDZ?
I'm in Tacoma.
Okay.
You're far.
West Coast, West Coast.
West Coast love.
You're literally on the other side of SSG. Like, absolutely.
I know.
Can't be much farther.
That's like a 3,000-mile journey. That's like a multi-$100 plane ride, 3,000-mile journey.
I know.
Set up,
a
hotel
whole day of travel,
food, Airbnb, car rental, Ubers, just to get O2 dropped, dude. It's crazy. There's no way.
Just get O2 dropped.
Just to get O2, no chance. No chance. Oh man.
All right. So
that's why we got ICL. That's why I got the LCCC. To get to us to set champs, and then we'll see what happens after that. I think just the need of seeing competitive players helps the kind of do what the set champs like. I'm gonna bring the decks I see in ICL or LCCC or the SSG. So it just like you said, we just gotta keep pushing, keep yapping about the communities, and just keep on making events happen until we get the real ones.
Our clip master sent me this clip. This is gonna be the only clip we got from tonight's match. So it's like, I'm assuming this is gonna be the play of the night. I could be wrong. Who knows? Someone else could come up with a better play. Send me a clip.
Highlight reel.
Play the next. Dang it!
His offense don't miss.
Okay, so this is from round one.
That's.
Do we have sound on it?
Avalanche of items will play.
We can't hear it.
Okay.
I turned it off for them, so they're gonna have to hear it.
I
need to move it down so it's below our cameras.
Oswald, shenanigans happening over there.
Is this when the Aussie hit?
Oh, I can't see.
Oh, it's the Oswald's just triggering a whole bunch.
The Aussie
After
hits the dime, I
Mason
believe.
wasn't able to trigger it all,
Hate to
Danzor
see it.
triggered a bunch instead.
Oh,
Man.
and then I think the game ended with like him like going like dime for game for like 9 or something.
All right, here.
It
we'll
did.
start.
That was crazy.
So he
It's
hits
like-
the first one, Fishbone Quill,
Oh,
and
Dun,
then
dun, 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 dun.
is it just Fishbone and then the
Fishbone.
Zeus, maybe? Okay. So the play of the night was actually triggering your Oswald.
yeah.
Triggering Oswald and
That was
hitting.
difference
Yeah.
maker though. That was because Mason
Oswald
just
hit.
didn't hit.
Yeah.
I did quest for 2, but yeah.
Like yeah, quest for 2, sweet. My opponent just got a free quill and a popsicle and a dime, and I'm just missing over and over again.
I hate to see it. I can't do it. I don't think my mental health can stand for that.
But like I don't know,
It's a gamble.
the gamba feels good when you hit.
When
Like, the
when it
rush
works, it
of
feels good
dime
when it
probably
works.
feels so good.
But it feels just as bad when it doesn't work.
And it's gonna miss like 30%, like
I mean, yeah.
70% of the time because you have 20 items.
Like 20 items. Yeah.
It's just, and you put like Hiram in the back of your bottom of your deck. Ugh,
That's
it
the
feels so
worst.
bad.
Oh, that is the worst.
No. I got one that's even worse. That happened to me today multiple times, where you are staring down a Daisy Duck Donald's date, okay, and then you hit the Oswald. You show a character, sends it to the bottom. The Daisy plugs you, and it shows the item and sends it to the bottom. That is the worst. That is the worst. I was like, I'm never playing this deck again. To hell with this. No chance. I'm done with that. Get this
And then
out
a
of here.
single tear fell down his
Sapphire
face.
Steel player couldn't handle the gamble.
Couldn't take it. I was like, and that's a dude. If this deck literally didn't cost $700, I would have just yeeted it out the window right there. Just tossed it right there.
Like nope, yeah, can't do
I'm
it.
done.
Die crabs.
Bye, crab. Bye.
No.
I'm done. You freaking guy. Are you kidding? The Daisy,
What
and it
are
happened like
you
3
gonna-
times in a row. It was like a very consistent thing. It was like Oswald trigger, show the character to the bottom. Daisy plugs, boom, character item to the
No.
bottom. I'm like, dude,
Daisy.
my
No.
Bad.
No.
That's just a bad mood. Yeah, my mood would just not be
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
after
It
that.
was-
No.
The frequencies would be
Yeah.
off.
frequencies off. The harmony was off. The resonation was down. The harmonics were
Yes.
not existent. It was a mess, dude. So
That's just GG and yes, yeah. Oh,
you just scoop up your card. You're like,
No.
okay. Well,
yeah.
I guess I'll go cry silently over here off to the side. Hope for better
Right.
days. But when it does hit, it does feel good.
So, Ruby Amethyst player, Rebecca, you getting not having a good time against Ruby Sapphire. JDC Steel Sapphire just not the right frequency. What are we doing then? What's the escape
are
plan?
we doing?
What, if it's not working? What are we running into? What's the
think
plan here?
I think you gotta just take it back to the basics. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's keep it simple. Okay, everyone just start playing Captain Tibbs, dude. Was Major Tibbs with the cat?
Sergeant Tibbs.
Sergeant Tibbs.
Everyone just start running Sergeant Tibbs again, and let's just cleanse the palate, dude. I think we've gone too far.
Set
Okay, we
one
gotta-
tournament would go hard. All I'm saying
Let's
is
just go back to our roots. Okay, let's just clean it up. Like not even set 1. I want to play starter deck 1, and let's just go back to the basics. We're doing too much. Okay,
That's
too
too
much.
much.
Too
That's too
much.
far. That's too far
Let's
going
just-
back.
let's just go back to the basics, dude.
But
Let's just
Aurora
clean
goes
it up.
crazy in the
Oh
starter deck.
man, yeah, she did.
Like,
She
you
did
just-
go crazy.
You just play Aurora Simba and win the game. It's just it's good. It's good stuff.
I want my biggest problem. I want my biggest problem to be super goof or the evasive flying goof, and I just can't.
yes.
I don't have an evasive guy. That's what I want.
I
wanna
want to
just-
take
Pongo
2
into
or 3 of the fun, not broken, but kind of powerful fun cards from like each set and put
Mhm.
them in set 1 and then play that.
See what happens.
It's like there's no Flaversham. Popsicle's there, sure,
Right.
but like there's nothing to like break it. I mean, maybe Tamatoa Popsicle's enough. No Lucky Dime, right? but like you can pick a few random things that are fun.
I mean, at that point, man, just make it a ban list and call it a day.
Yeah.
Right. Or I wonder when they'll start doing set rotations, you know.
Do you guys think that's
Like-
something that might happen? Set rotation?
I'm
or
a
ban
banless
list point back?
Andy. I'm sorry. I'm just a banless Andy. I think it's just
Really?
embedded in my system because of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think that's what it is. But
Mhm.
like, if I see a problem card, I'm like, just get rid of that one card, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
So
Yeah.
one issue with that is when one card won't really handle the problem.
Yeah, but that's
So
why you do, like,
Magic had
funny-
a
funny-
banned list too. And sometimes there would be like, all right, we ban this card. 3 months later, we ban another card from the same deck. 3 months later, we ban another card from the same deck. 3 months
Yeah.
later, we
Just
ban
keep hitting
another
'em.
card from the same
Just
deck.
keep hitting 'em. I like it.
And
Yeah.
that, like,
That sounds
in a
great for
normal
us.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep hitting 'em. Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know.
with like a rotation, you know what's going to happen. Bannings are a big feel bad. Like if they if they ban the core mechanic, say the entire deck is kind of based on one card. Be
Popsicle.
prepared. You know,
I see no
Popsicle.
problems with anything you're saying.
But I mean, so if you ban if you ban one card, it could destroy the whole deck. So it's not like they banned one card; they banned an entire deck. So that could make someone go
Try
from
that.
$600 to $0,
True,
and that could
yeah.
make someone quit playing the game.
That
That's
is
the
one
point
that
of
is
trying
one
to
good
make.
argument about the anti-ban list thing is because people do
A
spend a
set
ton of
rotation
money.
does the same thing. Like
True.
like Pokemon goes through the same
But
thing.
they
like,
at least
the-
know it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. So as
And they
long as
can-
they don't just go rotation, it's happening next week. Like
Mhm.
if they're like, all right, there's going to be a
Right.
rotation in a year. You have a year to play with these cards. If you want to use them, keep them, buy them, sure. But just be aware, don't buy the
Gone.
$60 card a week before rotation.
Right.
'cause you're not gonna
And when they so I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I come from Yu-Gi-Oh as well. When you do rotation, is there still a current series that runs with all the cards available, or is there just going to be no one plays it?
It depends. Magic had something called a core set. And what that was, it was like a kind of back to basics style of set where they didn't add new mechanics. And it was more of a reprint set. Sometimes it was all reprints. Sometimes it was half
Fabled.
reprints, half new cards, but still with a core concept. Kind of supplement previously made ideas from in standard time sets. So it's like if say like support was only in one set, well then the core set might have one or two cards with support to support to make it just a little bit better. And so that's one way to do it. Other ways is like I think Hearthstone had like its core set and they were just like, this is always legal. And so like they could go some route like that, and then you could add and remove cards from that, which it's kind of a digital thing more. But
Yeah. I just don't
So,
know, man.
the thing is, there's no winning with whatever they decided to do. Like it's just like
Sure.
someone's not going to be happy about it. But like,
Right.
is that something they should do? Probably. Like we can't just keep building the card pool with like insane sets and just keep on trucking. Like there needs to be some sort of
the
balancing.
Yu-Gi-Oh man just said that.
Yeah.
But that's why we're playing this game right now. Like I don't want that. I don't want that to happen here
Yeah.
too.
That's what happened in Yu. I think that's what happened in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh just let it. They kept going the way that we're going now, just creating more and more powerful effects and more powerful cards instead of trying to maintain some type of balance through the ban list. And also, I don't want to keep harping on Yu-Gi-Oh too much, but they have clearly a financial incentive with the way they print their cards, the way they release their products.
Yeah.
And the game has just become something so unrecognizable that it's just unapproachable as a player. Well, whereas Lorcana, the main thing that I enjoy about Lorcana the most is that, or one of the main things that I enjoy the most is that the game is very, you can get in. You can take one afternoon.
Accessible.
It's a very accessible
Yeah.
game. You can learn how to play in one afternoon, and you can be generally competitive. You can have some very fun matches just from starting. Whereas if it continues down this road of like all these crazy triggers and crazy effects and just super high powerful cards, then one, the deck's going to become too expensive and people aren't going to want to pay to get in. And two, it's going to be too overwhelming. They're not going to want to join in and play. So I think they should keep it simple. I would like a ban list and also just start printing cards that are not so OP like we did in this set. I think the cards in this set might be a bit too strong, in my opinion. Scrooge, Tamatoa, they're just too strong and too much.
I think the problem was more that most of them were in Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think it was not spread out among the inks. It was so heavy in one ink. That's I think
that's a problem.
I prefer if you're going to make a powerful card, make multiple powerful cards. The problem is when the strategy is, well, that's the only thing we know how to do is make more powerful cards. Like, we just make the same card, but make it draw an extra card, give it extra toughness, extra lore. It's like, well, that's I don't want bullet sponge like power creeps type thing where it's just the only aspect. It's like, go wide, give us new abilities, create new things.
like keywords,
Right, new keywords, new effects, new things to work with, or like even not even that far. Just some type of balance. Like there's no universe you can tell me that Scrooge McDuck and Baloo are on the same power level. It's just not a thing. Like that's not fair. Like there's no way that Mamatoa and you know freaking whoever
Radigan's cool.
Radigan is cool, but he's not on the same level as these other guys. It's like a different rarity almost.
I don't want them to make all of the best, most powerful cards legendary. So if they balance the legendaries to so you don't have a Baloo, then they're going to be the best cards in the game, and the decks are going to be insanely
You got the Yu-Gi-Oh problem.
Expensive.
Secret rares.
Yeah.
Or just dial it all down and make the cards more accessible. Then make the more powerful cards more accessible. I'm just saying
that's why we need like alt rares and stuff.
They kind of are though. To be fair, there's a large percentage, like some of the best staples in the game, at least in the last few sets, were like uncommons. It really hasn't been until this current like Scrooge Tamatoa in the same set. Like sure, Rapunzel's been the most expensive card and arguably one of the best cards, which is funny that it's a slightly worse Flaversham, slightly better at the same time, a little different. Like my opponent can't just not quest to stop my Flaversham from drawing 2 cards, but it stops the Rapunzel. But they're like the same thing, but you know, Rapunzel is a legendary, so it's worth $50, and Flaversham's just a regular rare, and it's in a pre-con, so it's worth like a couple bucks.
I get that.
I think it's
what is it? The
though.
Emerald Steel was the other deck that was like crazy expensive with like Robin Hoods and Diablos and all of that.
Yeah.
That one was kind of crazy. But I know that the game designers have talked about that specific thing, Luke, that they don't want all the best cards to just be legendaries because they want good cards to be accessible. And like you look at something like the Ruby Amethyst deck is like a fairly inexpensive deck. Most of the cards in there are really, really easy to get a hold of.
Not running
and
any
it's
legendaries.
still one of the best decks. Yeah,
sure.
no.
It's like
And
I don't think it's running any, right?
They could have.
No, there's none.
Yeah.
They don't have any legendaries in Ruby Amp deck.
Super rare.
Super rare Tremaine.
And they could have very easily made the new Bell, the 3-cost 1-cost Bell. They could have easily made this thing a legendary, and it'll have been one of the best legendaries ever, I think. And I think that they are doing that. I can see that. To make it's a common card. And
to me, I would just get rid of every rarity above rare, so there are only rares, uncommons, commons, and then you create what is at the equivalency of a super rare as like an alternative art, common, and then you create legendary, which is like an alternative art.
That's what Pokemon's doing,
uncommon.
So it's
and
been
then
working
you
over there.
create like an enchanted, which is like the equivalent of an enchanted art rare. And then you put like certain chase ones as that. To play the game is super cheap. Like some cards will be a little bit more, but like in general, we're not going to have $50 base rares. People are going to jump after the other things. It's like, as Breezy said, it's kind of something Pokemon's doing, and I think it's the right thing to do. Like it helps people afford the game while also giving collectors something to do.
Yeah.
I think that's a good plan. That's a good plan.
I want them to reprint whole sets with alternate art. Wouldn't that be cool someday? Like I want to see a whole like entire first chapter reprint where all the cards are all alternate arts. That would be so fun.
Enchanted.
If they do set rotations, I think that's something they would kind of have to do because of like they got to make some of these cards just reprint.
If they don't do the rotation,
or even like in the next, like whenever Fabled comes out, I think it'd be a good time to start it. Like Fabled, they'll just bring in like maybe one card from a previous set, and it's going to be enchanted, and it's just in that set. It has nothing to do with it. It's not in there as a common or any rare or anything. It's just going to be enchanted. So you get Ariel, the Spectacular Singer, as an enchanted art in this thing. Everyone's looking for it. Everyone's trying to pull it, especially they don't ban it or rotate it out or something. I think that would be so good if they were to do that. Like just make a highlight a certain iconic card, put it in the next in a set that has nothing to do with that set, and just have it be an enchanted print or something. That'd be neat.
What about a set that every 3 or 4 years they make a set that highlights 3 or 4 years worth of cards? So it
Oh,
has
yeah, that's
like
cool.
everyone's the most tournament played, people's favorites, the cards that like obviously create
Yeah.
the most hype. You could downshift the rarities on some of them if we're not doing a rotation thing. If we need them forever, we're gonna eventually need Rapunzel at rarity.
Yeah,
you know,
like
or
a
at
low,
least super rarity,
like a reprint.
Go down
Yeah.
one step
Reprint.
maximum
For sure.
Like they need to kind of have a method in place, like not a complete, like the reserved lists in Magic did some very good things it needed to do. Is that they almost killed their game because they did reprints too early. They created a reprint set that just destroyed the secondary market. Like, imagine if all of this, like, sure, Enchanteds are a little different now, so you have some art. Maybe people would be happy if all of a sudden every Enchanted was 10 cents, but there was an influx. But, like, how many people would lose thousands of dollars? They would not be very happy, right? So, like,
No.
you need to be careful with your reprinting things. So if people know that, like, yes, my legendary is going to have to be reprinted twice before it gets, like, super value deflux, even though it's going to take a slight hit, and then they know that it's got at least 5 years to a reprint, it gives you, like, buyer's safety, kind of, like a protection.
But I think if, like, even in, because again, come from Yu-Gi-Oh! And they reprint the absolute mess out of their card. They reprint everything. But what I have noticed that even when they do the reprints, the original printing goes up in value because collectors are going to want the real one. The first, if you have a first edition ultimate rare first print, it's going to do better than the reprinted version. But the players will have access to that. So I think that could work and benefit everyone.
The one problem with reprints is it's bad for the environment.
It's
like the trading card game environment or the actual world environment?
Just the actual environment. They're just like, here's cards no one needs more of that we're just making.
Junk. Junk.
Well, it's like you were saying, that'd be so interesting if you did like, oh, let's take the whole last year 4 sets and reprint some highlights, right? It's like a highlight reel, but the most playable cards, you know, that are the most popular.
Again, Pokemon kind of does it too. Like,
do a player's choice. Put a big,
a
big like survey online.
I'm making
and then
thousands
put,
of accounts for Cusco.
The top of whatever to get reprinted. Do you want to see them reprinted, or do you want your Cuscos that you're stocking up on to go up? I don't know.
I'm not. No, listen. It's not. I'm doing it for the love of the game, not because of the monetary value when it comes to Cusco. Okay.
Okay.
So like, I will make thousands of accounts and reprint them for the long.
Okay. Speaking of monetary value, I'm looking at these enchanted prices right now on TCG Player. What's going on with the market? It seems like some of them are coming down, some of them are going up. They got Restoring Atlantis Enchanted is only $41, and Mirabelle's only $59. Like, what is up with that?
Katie's gonna go buy that one. Katie's gonna go buy up all the Restoring Atlantis enchanted cards now. She's gonna have a play set.
So the Enchanteds are an interesting gamble. I personally have not been in that market, right? I haven't been speculating on any Enchanteds. The only ones I own are the ones I opened or have won. I haven't bought any.
Yeah.
And like, from my perspective, it seems like if the card is very playable, it's going to be worth a bunch of money. If the card is desirable by Disney adults, that is the nice way to say it, right? There's not like a more kosher way to say that. Or
no, Disney adults is fine.
Yeah.
Right? So like, it has to be desirable by Disney adults. Elsa, you know, that type of thing.
Right.
And if it is not that, either of those two things, it's like $30-$40. It's like people who are trying to complete sets.
Accurate.
They're the people buying it. Restoring
Well,
Atlantis.
that's like even like with the set champs cards, right? Like Stitch. The first, not only was it the first one, so everyone was like super pumped up and all of that, but like it's Stitch. Like people love Stitch, and that card is still worth a lot.
Yeah, it was like a tournament staple. The format before that set champs, like the set 1 format, it was a tournament staple. Set 2, it started getting shifted out. I think it was. Maybe it was Queen and Stitch, or just Queen and Gaston. That was when I like stopped playing Steel Song. But yeah, the rest of them really haven't seen much play. Like, I'm not I'm not happy with Scar. Maybe Hero is going to be a great choice. Like if Ducky has anything
But
to
it
say
already
about
has
it.
an enchanted. That's the problem that like Ursula
That
faced too.
is-
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so
Why would they do it
curious
twice?
about
Yeah.
that decision.
I didn't like that.
it's just like there's so many other cards that didn't get an enchanted this set that could have just used it. It
Yeah.
would have been fine.
Also,
like,
why is the participation card the same card as the top 8 card? I know
They-
it's a different art, but
It's the I think they're trying to I think they're trying that this from what I've heard is that they're trying that in lieu of the second place mat. There's just going to be no more second place mat. It's only
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be top 8 gets a card and the first place gets a card and a mat and everyone
why
gets
is
a
it a
card for
different
entering.
card? I mean, like, so why is it not Mushu? Why is it just not
Yeah.
a random any
Should have been
card
Mushu.
but that hero? Any card
Like a
but that
different
hero.
alternate art, like a
Right.
different alternate art.
Yeah, I think that
card.
would've been a good
right.
opportunity.
So you everyone who plays gets the alternate art hero, and then make the top 8 an alternate art lady, because that was the thing they wanted to show. That would be sick. I don't
also, I have beef with this enchanted. The
Which one is that?
The tramp.
Tramp.
Where's the other
Oh,
half?
Yeah.
Right.
Why did
Where's
they
Lady?
not come up with the other half? Like,
Why did Lady not have a card, and why does it not match? Right?
Hopefully
Or
it's
the
next
dual
set. Next
enchant-
set.
like,
Next set.
but the
Maybe,
lady
and
card is
why-
right here.
And he looks
Candio.
so like
It's gotta be
straight
the
from the
first thing
headlines
you
I
too.
don't know.
The other
He's like, in 3
artwork
sets from now.
He has
we're
spaghetti
gonna get
in
the
his
other one.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this Trent one didn't hit because he looks like it's like a screen print. It doesn't look drawn. Like if you look at this Aurora Awakened Beauty one, which is one of my
Oh,
favorite artworks ever
love
printed.
that
in
one.
I love looking at it. I want to get this thing
So
printed out and
good.
mounted on my wall. I love the way
Giant
this card looks. If you look at the way this card is drawn and you look at the way the Tramp's drawn, those don't look like they're in the same game. Like they don't look the same.
Enchanted this set, gorgeous. All of them,
Beautiful.
Love it. But yes, I do agree. It's just like
It just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit, man.
If all the prizes are the same card but different versions put in, like, I don't think that encourages as much. I think it's almost worse. It's
Yeah.
like then
Yeah.
when you look at your prize, you're like, oh, that's not actually the good prize.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I see it's more of like a failure prize, whereas like give me the participation that's a different card. So when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, we all got this for playing. Like this was
Yeah.
like our friendship community prize. Yeah, not
Yeah.
participation. This is our
All-
community prize for being part
Right.
of the set champs.
Oh, I like that
Like,
verbiage. Yes.
all art Mushu would have
I like
went
that.
so hard.
I just wanted an enchanted Mushu because I think they could have done a really good job with their artwork. I think some artists could have took that
Yeah.
opportunity and they could have knocked it out of the park.
The
with
normal
with
card was
Mushu.
incredible. So like, it's just the ceiling was so high for it.
Mm-hmm.
That Mushu card went hard this weekend in some of the sealed events I played in.
Oh, yeah.
Mushu, Fidget.
Fidget is
Crazy.
ridiculous.
Fidget was dumb.
Fidget's
I
the
hated it.
problem.
Fidget should be banned in seal. That is that is a
Fidget.
ridiculous card.
Bro,
Like that is
Do you
insane.
Oh
not
my gosh.
open any cards with evasive?
I mean,
I don't. Not really. I didn't.
Not better
get
than
hardly any
Fidget,
of that
no.
stuff. Yeah. And if I did, it was like, oh, you have 1 or 2 or 3 out of a 40 card deck, and they don't come up when you need it.
There's no way to
I-
right.
So
So if you have if your board is like a bunch of fidgets and the new Sleeping Beauty, like in Pascal's,
yeah.
you're like you're rocking and rolling. Like, that is they're
So
you're cooking.
I drew my Snow White 3 times.
ooh.
And I inked her every single time.
Oh,
really?
no.
Why?
I was on the draw each time.
He's
And
good,
my
yeah.
opponent had an aggressive start, and my deck was a very slow damage matters deck.
Mhm.
So I didn't care about winning quickly. I cared more about stalling. So my other 4 drops were just like beef sticks or something of the sort. I did have evasives. I did not have a gadget or
You didn't have a fidget?
Fidget.
but I did take one out, and it was pretty scary. They had a queen and a fidget in play at the same, like the queen
Oh my
exile
goodness.
things to gain lore. So it's like
Oh,
this
yeah.
delicate dance where I'm like, well, I ain't questing. You gonna quest? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. And then eventually
Yeah.
I got queen, and then damage got put on everything, and I had 2 Mad Hatters, and I had the King as well, so they couldn't challenge my characters. 'cause
Oh,
that was all
right. Damaged
It's
characters.
just like
Mm-hmm.
a
Nice.
good synergy. He showed me after in the finals, we played one game for fun because we prize split. He got 5 boosters, I got 4 boosters, and a man, I forgot what his name was. I haven't started watching One Piece all the way yet. I'm planning on it. Chomper. I got a Chomper stuffy.
Chopper, not
yeah,
chomp.
these
It's a
Yu-Gi-Oh
chopper.
Chopper.
It's a chopper. Dr. Chopper.
And I'm winning Chopper here.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you pulled Enchanted though, didn't you, Luke?
One
Yeah,
Piece.
I really won.
Yeah, you won.
You
I mean, that's a
did.
dub.
Nice.
You pulled Enchanted and Seal, dude. That's
My
like an
third
automatic
pack.
victory.
That's the winner.
It was
right?
a draft.
Yeah.
Oh, the draft.
But
Draft
so my
pack,
third pack
crazy.
of the set, I opened an Enchanted. I've only
Nice.
opened 4
Sweet.
packs, and then 4 prize packs. So I've opened 8 packs of the set.
I'd be glad. I just left right there. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I
I was like,
won.
I
I'm
won.
out of here, guys. Thanks for playing.
I won the event basically. Why
Yeah.
leave?
Plushies
There's
stick
games
up.
to be played.
Did you play it too? Did you just leave it up and put them in the deck?
Oh, I riffle
Or you-
shuffled it.
No, you didn't. You're a madman, dude.
Oh, my heart. Don't say that.
You're a madman. I love it.
Oh,
stop, Luke!
golly.
No.
Yeah, now it's on the floor.
Now it's TCG
gone.
player
Whistle.
moderately played, dude. MP, dude. There you go.
Moderately played.
Good job, dude. Moderately. Oh, he still has the draft decks sleeved up, dude. Look at that.
Hall of
Was it
Fame
one that
deck
fell?
right there.
Because that'd be fun.
Oh my goodness, dude.
No.
I'll get it on the MP price. I'll buy
Yeah.
that off you on an
Yeah.
MP price.
Bargain basement, dude.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, the
So
best
I
type of play.
opened.
Get
I
those
opened it
enchantments. LP.
after I
Hey.
already had the queen. So I
Wow.
was
Nice.
like, all right,
That looks
all
so
right.
good.
And then I got past to foil one of this. And then,
Was that restoring the crown?
yep. And then I
Nice.
got past the
Yep.
non-foil version of it in the next pack. And I was like,
Nice.
all right. I
keeping them
played
both.
it. I played it twice. I gained 4 lore on it once, and I gained 8 lore on it the other time. Both times I won the game when I played it. Basically,
Yep.
like completely
Oh.
wiped their board, did things. So like my deck is interesting because it was very defensive, but also like I had the Helga, the 0/4 that could challenge evasives. It'd be a 3/4.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Challenger 3.
So that was how I was dealing with evasives. Is I had one of those. I had one
Yeah.
of the bell. Here, I think I'll pop it up on the stream. I think I've got it.
Look at the answers. No.
That's a I don't know, man.
I did.
I didn't get a chance to
While
play.
you're pulling that up, I did a 2v2 on Saturday, and at one point, both of the players on the other team had out Fidget, and then like other characters
Yeah.
that quested for like 2 or 3, and neither of us
Yeah.
had any evasives to deal with it. And it was like,
Oh.
well,
Yeah. Well, I guess you're just gonna lose. That and
that's
I
fun.
guess
and
we're just gonna
Pascal.
lose.
Pascal quest for 4. Like who's man,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's no bueno. No good. No good.
Oh,
Pascal's
no.
fine.
No
It's
bueno.
just fine. You know,
He's a fine guy. He's a fine little guy. I think I'm play hyper aggro, dude. Just put Pascal's in there and just see what happens. Maybe
It won't work.
it won't work. Breezy, you gotta stop saying that. Every time you always lead with it won't work. Okay.
Because I
You
love
gotta-
hyper aggro. Hyper aggro is everything I love about this game. I want to go fast and race to 20. And
you can't come in with
we're
it
getting
won't work. Okay.
absolutely cooked.
You can't start.
There
you
are-
Strength of a Raging Fire is a real
What?
card, and it hurts my feelings.
There are in Arcasia's Island, there are only 19 cards that have the evasive keyword.
only 19.
Wow.
That seems like a
Only.
bit. That seems like a lot. That seems like that's a pretty sizable amount. I'll take 19.
19,
What do we got
18. Let's see
18?
here. 18. There's 18.
See, the moment you declared your victory was when you picked that Cusco whale. Just saying. Just saying that card is insane. Bounce a body.
So the whale was actually absurd, and you
Yeah.
notice
Really?
that my deck, I only have 9 2-drops, or I have 9 2-drops and 1 1-drop. I only have 3 3-drops. So like part of that was because I was very highly taking 2-drops because I got the whale in like pack 2 or 3. I was like, I want to be able to use this as much as I can when I get it.
It's so good.
And I have a tramp, so I was like, all right, I can play tramp, play ink, bounce tramp back, replay it, pump another character, take 2 things, draw an extra card off of it. I did that a few times. It was so good. Oh, it was dirty good. The funny thing is some of the cards that I thought were going to be bonkers just weren't that great. Like Bugle Boys, great stats, 4 cost 3 quests for 2. And pump something else, gives it resist and rush. I never really got to use it. I was like almost always on the back foot. So then I had to play a defensive character, and like I couldn't really afford to just quest. Like I'd play it, I could quest with it, give something rush, but then they'd be able to take it out, and so it wasn't like as good as it could be because I could have just played the character it was going to give rush to most of the time instead. The similar thing with the 5-drop Tweedledee Tweedledum. I kind of just is too slow. So it's like maybe I could have cut those, but as you'll see, my other playables. I had 2 honey lemon 2-drops that were not good. Razul 2-drop, not good. A windy, which is not terrible, but as you can see, my issue is I have too many high cost characters, and so like the other things don't do much. The consideration was maybe he's a tramp. Someone was telling me that they actually thought the card was good on its own, not even because of the vanishing. I should have had 2 Iagos, but I completely mind blanked forgetting it had evasive, so I picked a Diablo over one of them.
Oh no! Oh no!
So I did regret that, but the Diablos were great for me.
How are you getting how are you getting cards? You're just not is there any draw in here at all? There's no draw in the set really.
Well, Cusco draws
Cusco.
cards.
Not a lot.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Both of these Mad Hatters, they draw cards.
Oh.
So I didn't play something on turn 1 most of the time, and there were multiple times that I tried to skip turn 2 or 3 to try to like guaranteed I had the ink to play my more impactful 3s and 4s. So it really depended on what my opponent did. Like Helga normally let me like skip 2 because then they're like, oh, I can't be aggressive as much as as I want to be necessarily. But I was going down to like 1 or 2 cards in hand quite a bit, or like stop inking at 4 and then waiting a few turns. I definitely almost lost a round because like I have 10 uninkables, and in 12 cards I drew 5 uninkables, and I was like, well, it's a little not great for me. I needed that 1 extra inkable. I think my hand was like restoring the crown, Hades.
Cooked.
And I was just like, all right, like, but everything I had in play and like the 1 or 2 other cards that I needed to play, not ink, I was able to then wait a turn or 2 to then deploy those. Like, sure, I could have inked a card and then played Restore, but then I don't have the character to quest or to challenge, so I still needed to like wait a turn.
Okay. Sealed, man.
Deanna was pretty good. I don't know. How was your sealed?
Dude, I suck at draft, dude. I'm so bad. Rebecca, she did sealed. I showed up too late to my event and freaking missed it. So there you go. I got cooked by a flyer. 2-0'd by a freaking flyer, dude. Hate to see it.
Yeah. I got taken out by spaghetti dinner.
I mean, I could see that in limited, like just like finishing the game off.
There's nothing to take care of items, and so they just kept
hitting you with the spaghetti.
Able to,
spaghetti. Oh no!
Gotta make
that magical
card
maneuvers
work,
card was fun.
Yeah, magical maneuvers was pretty good for me. I also had Panic, which is like a very big card. I used it to answer a Snow White once. It's like one of the few ways in the set. I think I played an out of order on a shifted Mufasa.
Let's go.
Let's go.
My son.
Nice.
Like that is an interesting deck someone had drafted. He drafted like Mufasas and Yzmas and then like the shift targets to try to do that. And he's like, yeah, that's how I've won most of them, is just play it, and then all of a sudden it's a 5/7 resist 1 evasive. Like, okay.
What do we do?
He played it.
The Universal Shift Baymax is great. I will tell you that.
Oh yeah.
You can shift that on anything. So
That's
yeah, he was awesome in sealed.
I was pretty happy with it.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. But well, this was lots of fun. I do have to leave. Okay, I have to depart.
That's all right.
I do as well. Yeah.
I'm wearing out my welcome
show.
We'll say bye, everyone.
ICL
we'll
with luxury
somebody.
going 1-1. Sunflower Illumineers are 0-2. Gonna have to come back. It's gonna be rough.
Okay, they gotta claw their way out. I think they can do it. I think
so. It's
I think they
possible.
can do it. Bro, Hamilton's just got to get him into the dojo, get him into the lab, and do some freaking
Get some
training, get him into the
LEDs.
kitchen, get them lights for one. We didn't talk about that.
Get some LEDs.
Get some illumination.
Sunshine.
And that's
It's
sunflower
Illumineer.
Sunflower Illumineers being in complete darkness is just so ironic and funny.
So sad.
But Wednesday we got the Ink Knight versus ETB. This gonna be a great little matchup.
Wednesday.
If I had to give my pick, I'm a little biased. Gotta root for my boy Habibi. So I gotta say ETB's gonna get the dub and then move on with the victory to get into that top seed.
I like it. I like ETB. I like their attitude. I mean, but you never know. You never know.
You never know.
I'll be here. Hell yeah.
It's gonna be
And,
fun.
and Rebecca, I gotta say, it was really nice to meet you and speak to you and talk to you.
great.
I've been a fan for
Yes.
a long time, and I'm glad that this happened. I had so much fun in the booth. You had me laughing, you had me in stitches, and hopefully we can do that again. Hopefully come back. Don't be a stranger to the
Yeah.
ICL. I need to see more Rebecca out here. Okay,
I know.
in the booth.
I appreciate that. It was super fun. I love hanging out with you guys, and it's really fun watching these games. So yeah, I'll be back if you'll have me.
It was a blast. Definitely do. Hopefully you sign up for more of those casting things.
Yes.
All right. We're going to raid the Illumineers because they're still on.
Yeah.
Illumineers.
They're still
Yeah.
going.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And I do believe we just raided.